totally booked right
booked right
now.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
All right.
happening.
It is happening. I'm so freaking excited. I've
Yeah.
been just jittery and excited all day. I cannot wait to start. A
All
Court
your
of Thorns and
dreams.
Roses. Yeah, I
Yes.
know, my dreams. And I'm going to do my best to not, get way too ahead of myself. Like, not even just future parts of this book, but future parts of the entire series. And just try to,
Right.
keep my face quiet because it's try so hard.
There's
So
so much information. So this is gonna be part one of A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas.
Mhm.
Mass.
Mass.
Um, we're beginning our journey. Our goal is to get through these 5 books and the 3 Crescent City books before the release of the new ACOTAR in October. End of October. I think we have
So
plenty of time.
we can do it. We can do it.
Mhm.
Hopefully. Hopefully.
So,
Yes. All right.
let us begin.
With part one, which is going to get us through about almost exactly 50% of the first book.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm. All right. So I'm going to start us off here. So it is winter time, and we meet our protagonist, Feyre Archeron, as she is hunting in the woods 2 days south of the fairy lands of Prythian. I'm going to say this wrong. Prythian? Prythian?
I say it Prythian.
Prythian. We're going to go with Prythian. And I'm going to do my best to remember it's Prythian through the rest of this. It's probably going to be wrong. It's been a difficult winter. Her main thoughts are on survival of her entire family, which is the way it has been for the last 8 years that they have lived in their village. She is wary of the talk of large wolves in the area, as well as tall and eerie, strange folk about, and she hopes that it wasn't the fairies, as they are known for their destruction of mortal villages. Feyre is deeper into the woods than she wished to go, but the food supplies have been low, and she needed to find something to bring home to her family. Feyre is reminiscing on the beauty of the world that she used to have. Her family used to come from more money. They're pretty poverty stricken now, and she has a desire to paint beautiful things, but now all she can really focus on is survival of her and her family. A doe comes into view in a clearing, and Feyre is fantasizing about how much this will help her family. She sees a pair of golden eyes staring at her. It's a massive wolf that is so large it's almost unnatural, and it's making no noise at all, so she wonders if it did indeed come from the fairylands to the north.
Mhm.
Years ago, when she could afford some nicer things, she had purchased an ash wood arrow with an iron tip in case she ever came across one of the Fae. These are
Yeah.
2 items that are notorious for killing the Fae, both iron and ashwood.
Mhm.
She was unsure if the wolf was actually a fairy, but she wanted to both stop it from getting her dinner and also protect her village in case it was one of the Fae. The wolf leapt to attack the doe and got its jaws around its neck when Feyre fired her ash arrow and it struck it in its side. It surprised the wolf, who spun, jumped up, and looked at her. She readied another arrow and fired it straight into its eye. Success! She killed the wolf, and the wolf had already killed the doe for her. However, she could only carry one animal, so she skinned the wolf's pelt, wrapped it around the doe, and carried it back to her home. She tried to feel remorse for what she had done, but it was a bad winter, and her family was starving.
Giving Hunger Games.
Very much
Katniss.
so. In the woods with her bow and arrow.
Mhm.
Feyre arrives home as the sun is setting. She's freezing cold and exhausted from the long trek back to their home, which sits on the outskirts of town. She can hear her sisters talking and knows that they probably have done none of the chores that were needed to be done around the house. They usually refuse to help. She looks up at the threshold, and there are fairy wards that her father had paid a wood carver in exchange for some of his own wood carvings who had passed through town a couple years ago. So I'm just imagining this kind of really crappy little tiny cabin house, and it's got this door
Mhm.
frame with these like weird and intricate carvings all around it. She admits that she doesn't know if they actually work or if they do anything, but it does give her and her family a little bit of peace of mind that maybe that is a little bit of a stop block for the fairies. She brings the deer inside, and her sister Elaine is excited to see the doe she has killed and looks at it hungrily. Elaine is beautiful and does not seem to have grasped that they're in poverty, and she always tries to do her best to still dress very prettily. Her other sister, Nesta, her oldest sister, is described as being vain and cruel. Nesta doesn't have a kind word for anyone and really hates their dad. She never has a kind word to say about him or when he says anything, and everything he says is followed up by a scoff or an eye roll from Nesta. Feyre has a slightly better relationship with her sister Elaine. So Elaine is her sister who is a little bit more nice in general to Feyre as well. She doesn't
Yeah.
have much of a
I
personality.
know.
So
There was a
we can't.
point I was like,
Yeah,
"Is Elaine, like, cognitively
a
like,
little slow,
does she have a
maybe.
cognitive decline or something?" Like
It just we don't get much of her personality from this first part. But Nesta, we find out, is she's mean. She's a
she's
mean
a
girl.
huge bitch. Yeah,
A
she's
huge bitch. Yeah.
literally the worst.
Yeah. So she has purchased seeds for Elaine so she can grow some flowers in their backyard. And Elaine, in return, has also bought paints for Feyre in the past. That's kind of her one and only hobby that she has that is just for her. And she's used those paints to decorate their house with in like random conspicuous areas, like all these little places she's just painted little flowers or added little accents to their kind of very bare and drab home. Feyre's father has been crippled by debt collectors almost 8 years ago when he couldn't pay the debts that they had owed. It's been 5 years since the majority of their funds had truly run out, and Feyre had taught herself how to hunt in order to keep the family alive.
Yeah, even though in chapter 1, she says, "In the last 8 years, I've been hunting in the woods." So
So it's like,
for until she talks about it later in the book too, but I missed this part. So until, like,
mhm,
she talks about it again later, I was like, "So she's been hunting for 8 years," but it's actually been 5. I should be an editor.
yeah,
How did no
just
one catch that?
I know, and yes, I know, and it's like, well, then I was like, well, was it supposed to be just 8 years since they were living in that house that they? I know,
Right.
but
I mean,
it
that is
literally said,
yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Like, word for word. Whatever.
Nesta makes a snarky comment about how bad Feyre smells when she comes in because she, killed a deer and then basically skinned and butchered a wolf. So
Right.
she's gross. She's pretty grimy.
But, like, "Sorry
It
I brought you food to eat, you
I
starving
know,
bitch." Like,
I
what the
know.
f
Not even a thank you for like killing, and she was very far away. Like the hall was probably miles back to her house, or even if it was just a half a mile, carrying a big freaking deer
Mhm.
all by yourself when
Yeah.
you're just some scrawny little, girl.
Right.
So difficult. Um,
Seriously.
so Nesta's given her a hard time about her smelling bad, but then Feyre looks over and notices that none of the wood has been chopped for a fire for the night. So she's like, Nesta, why didn't you chop any firewood? And Nesta's like, well, you're better at it. And I don't want to like ruin my nails, or like, you already have calluses from hunting. Like, I don't want to ruin my pretty hands. And I'm like,
Mhm.
oh my God, just no help. They're just all
Right, right.
useless.
It's, like,
All of them.
cartoonishly evil. It's like,
Like
in what world?
yeah, for why? For why?
Mhm.
Feyre goes to clean herself up and asks her father to get the knives out to prepare for her to butcher the deer. In her room, she takes note of one of the last remaining pieces from their prior wealth, the iron wood bed that used to be her parents' that she and her sisters now share. There is only one other piece of furniture in their room, which is a dresser. Feyre had painted Elaine's drawer with flowers, Nesta's drawer with crackling flames, and her own drawer was painted to look like the night sky. She's thinking about the vow that she had made to her mother on her mother's deathbed, that she would take care of her family and always keep them together. She had wondered what would happen if she had just started walking and never come back. She's now thinking of when she's out hunting, she's thought of this many times. Like, what if I just never turned around? What if I just never came back? Would her family even notice that she was gone if they didn't have food? Like,
Right.
it's
Yeah.
really sad. Like, she's the
Yeah.
She's the sole provider for her two sisters and her crippled father, and she doesn't feel like they even would care if she was gone,
Right.
unless
It's
just for the
insane.
food reason. Yeah, and I don't
Yeah.
understand. Like, why do they
Right.
hate her so much? What happened?
Right. Yeah,
But
it, like, but blows my mind. I'm like, "This is chapter 2," and I'm already enraged. Like, there's
mhm,
like you said, there's so mean to her. She's the only one that does anything and gets them food and keeps them alive, and they're so ungrateful.
yes.
And it's also insane that her mom put this burden on her at 8 years old, the youngest daughter. I'm just like,
Yes.
it just is so weird.
Yes. Not that the oldest
Yeah.
should always, like, it shouldn't default to that necessarily, but I feel like on your deathbed, like, explaining maybe or
Mhm.
requesting this of your oldest child is going to make more sense than the baby of the
Right.
family.
Or your husband, the adult.
Exactly. Exactly. During dinner, Nesta announces to the table that Thomas, the second son of a wood chipper in town, wants to marry her and that they are in love. Feyre, while trying to be reasonable, tells her that they don't have any money for a dowry for her or for Elaine or even for herself. And there's no way that his family is going to agree to the marriage without a dowry. Nesta is extremely upset by this and storms off. And Elaine kind of like follows her to kind of comfort her. Like Nesta and Elaine are actually pretty
Yeah.
close. Feyre's like the third wheel when it comes to her and
Right.
her sisters.
It's bizarre.
Uh, Feyre tells her father that he needs to talk some sense into her, but he says that we need hope as much as we need bread and meat. We need hope or else we can't endure. Let her imagine a better life, a better world. Feyre thinks on this and replies with, there is no such thing as hope. Like,
Right. I was like, "Shut the fuck up." Like,
what? Like, how is that your response to that? I don't understand that.
mm-mm.
0%. Like,
No. It's like,
leave your
"Actually, no, like, we need food."
yeah, this is pretty important. Like, we need to survive. And not only that, but I feel like Feyre's being kind of reasonable. She's like, that's great that you're like in love, but there's no way that you can
Mhm.
marry him. We have nothing to provide for you to be
Right.
taken on as like an extra household member for him and his family.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I know. This chapter was just, like, so out of pocket, and all my notes are just like, "Fuck you, fuck that, fuck them." Like, so mad. And the fact that, like, Feyre needs supplies, like, she needs boots and stuff, but they're both
Yeah.
immediately talking about all the things they wanna buy with this money that
Is going
she's the
to
one that's gonna get.
mhm,
And then
mhm.
also I'm like, "Don't give them anything. Are you freaking kidding me? Give them nothing."
Like, they could
What?
go out and
It's not like
start
your
doing
real
something to
Yeah, and it's
help,
not
like
like your relationship is gonna suffer for not giving them what they want. It's
I
already
know.
horrible.
It's like, I mean and I feel like almost too, if she was really that young when she had to start hunting and providing, like, I could almost see as,
Mhm.
like, this has just turned into a pattern for them. Like,
Right.
she was always the younger sibling, which means that she kinda got shit on by them or, like, kinda got bossed around or told what to do, and so now it's just, like, this horrible pattern,
Mhm.
and she's just like, "Well, I don't know what to do. I kind of have let this go on for so long," and then, of course, dad didn't do anything either, so
Right.
to, like,
Yeah, yeah.
stop that, he seems to be almost also on, like, Nesta's side a little bit, like, "It's fine, like, don't worry about," and I don't know why he tries to
Yeah.
appease her then either, because she hates him, she doesn't like him either, like,
Mhm.
why is he kind of taking her side on this? It's just any
Right.
yeah.
Literally, it makes no sense. Fair has a lot of trauma. It's like,
Mhm.
I can understand, like, that she says it like, her word is her bond, so she's been dealing with this burden for 11 years. That's a lot to let
Right.
go of, but
It is,
we've
it's
learned a
just tough.
lot about Feyre in 2 chapters.
Yes, we have, yes. A lot of her personality traits or her
Mhm.
yeah. So the next day, Nesta and Elaine go into town with Feyre to sell the hides. They're not really there to help her in this process, but because they know that she'll end up having money and they want to spend it on themselves. They're just like following her around. I imagine them as from Parks and Rec, the Saperstein siblings. Money,
Yes,
please!
yeah, yeah, seriously. I have never done anything wrong ever.
And ever. I know, you haven't.
Yeah, I know this, and
It's
I love you.
and here you go. Money, please. While in town, they run into people from the Children of the Blessed. They are a religious group that still worships the High Fae. They're trying to convert them or trying to get converters to like
Mhm.
join their cause. And Nesta shows them her iron bracelets that her mother had given them. And she basically is like, get lost. We're not going to be converted. You guys are weirdos, crazy. You guys are psycho. Two additional women who are passing by, they're kind of in a higher standing of the town. They're like some farmers' wives. They're also wearing iron all over them. So it sounds like that's kind of a common thing, especially they do live pretty close to the wall that separates them from the Fey
Mhm.
lands. And so a lot of people wear these iron because they think that's going to protect them from the fairies. And these two women also kind of sneer and like give these children of the blessed they're like a cult, a hard time. And they're like, you guys are fairy loving whores for still worshiping them. Like, you guys are crazy people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Feyre's like, I couldn't disagree. I was like, what the this blessed girl has never even met a fairy. She
I
just
know. She doesn't
thinks they're
know.
cool.
Yeah. Don't, well, there's so much like, animosity between the two groups, even though like they don't really come in
Yes.
contact with each other at all. Like it's really not
Mhm.
often. There's a freaking wall there for a reason. So yeah,
Right.
these children of the blessed, they have no idea what they're so excited about.
Mhm.
So Feyre takes the hides to see who would want to purchase them, and after some obvious disinterest from some of her usual buyers, she finds a very large woman who appears to be a mercenary. Just like she's like tall and buff, like she's like huge, not like
Mhm.
huge, but
Yeah.
muscle, big, me strong, huge. And the woman offers her more than what they're worth, and that really surprises Feyre. But the woman says that she was once helped in a time of great need and wanted to return the favor. While examining the hides, she admits that she does not believe that the wolf hide is that of a fairy. The mercenary warns that there have been rumors of the Fae coming over the wall and to not go as far into the woods as she so clearly would have had to go to get a wolf hide of this size. 500 years ago, a treaty had been forged when the humans had rebelled against their high Fae masters. And it had taken a very bloody war and a treaty forged by the 6 mortal queens in order for it to stop. So humans were
Slay.
yeah, they were enslaved by the high fae, and they were in the same lands that the human realm is currently on. Now, though, the Fae stay on their side of the wall with all of their magic, and the humans then had to learn how to fend for themselves and live off the land. So there's this reason that it seems like a little bit more poverty stricken for sure. Like even though it's been 500 years, not a whole lot has been beneficial for the humans that are on the other side of the
Mm.
wall so far. Nesta and Elaine lead Feyre away from the mercenary and tell her to be careful of them. They had been robbed not too long ago by a different mercenary, and Feyre's like, what? Why didn't you tell me about this? Like, what the fuck? Like, we need all the resources you can, and you didn't tell me that you were robbed by some,
Yeah.
mercenaries that were passing through. And Nesta is just like, what? What would you done? Would you have fought like with your bow and arrow? And it's like,
It's like,
but maybe, yeah.
yeah, that's a weapon. I could have killed them with it.
And I keep us all alive because I'm a pretty good shot. So I don't think that would have been the worst option ever. But Nesta does not see that skill is really being beneficial. Apparently, I think maybe that was just the point that was trying to be made there. Like Nesta,
Like she's just a bitch.
she is, yes. Nesta sees Isaac Hale over Feyre's shoulder and smirks about her having some other business to attend to while they're in town. She makes a snide
Ayo.
She makes a snide comment about them being careful. Feyre and Isaac are a bit of a not so secret item, and Nesta knows that there's no money for the contraceptive brew, but since Feyre can't afford it, Isaac takes it. She admits that their coupling is not romantic or gentle. It's mostly fumbling, and they're just both looking for a release. Sometimes they will even go a month in between even making eye contact with each other, but she recently found out that he is betrothed to another woman in a different town. She isn't really sure how she feels about this because there's no love between them, but he does keep her from getting too lonely. So she's like torn. She's like, I don't really like you like that, but like this is gonna suck. She even says in the book, she's like, I'm just waiting to get the courage to ask him to continue our relationship after he's married. So she's so
She's like,
alone.
yeah, seriously.
Yeah. So alone. Feyre gives her sisters a 20 mark copper so they can go spend on whatever items that they want from the hides that she had just sold, and she goes to follow Isaac to the barn that they meet at for their little trysts. That evening, when they're all at home eating their dinner, Feyre is watching her sisters laugh and talk with each other and admire their new purchases when a deafening roar accompanies their front door being blown off of its hinges.
Dun dun dun.
Done. A large beast with golden fur is standing in their doorway. Feyre reaches for a hunting knife while her sisters and father cower in the corner. They are so useless. Like, I
So
understand, like,
useless.
it's a terrifying situation. There's this massive beast that just burst in your door, but they're like,
Yeah.
like, here, use Feyre as a human shield. Like, hopefully she'll
Right.
protect us. Like, Ugh, God. The beast is as large as a horse with a feline body. The head is more wolf-like, though, and has curled elk horns coming out of its skull. It has black, thick claws and massive yellow fangs. Murderers! It bellows at them.
You sound
Feyre's
just like
first.
him.
I'm sure. Can get my voice so deep, so deep. um, Feyre's first thought is, yep, this is a fairy, and our wards didn't do shit to protect us from it. So anything that was around the door, that guy peddling his anti-fairy wards he didn't know what he was doing. He was totally fake.
Mm-hmm.
Cheater.
Charlatan.
Mm-hmm. Her father and Nesta speak up and say that he can take whatever he wants. They didn't kill anyone, which just makes the beast roar again. Feyre tries to throw a knife at his exposed throat, but he swipes his paw and easily knocks it away. He snaps his large teeth at Feyre, and she leaps back toward her family. Who killed him? The beast roars. Feyre notices that his eyes don't look like an animal's. They're actually much more human-like. Killed who? She asks. The wolf, a large wolf with a gray coat. Feyre is trying to decide if she should lie to him. She knows that fairies can't lie, but can they detect lies? She asks what type of payment would be needed if it was killed, even by accident, and the beast responds with the payment determined by the treaty that was made 500 years ago. Feyre announces that she killed the wolf and she sold its pelt at the market that day, but she wouldn't have even touched it. She wouldn't have gone near it if she'd known that it was a fairy. The beast originally doesn't believe her.
I'm like, I don't believe her either.
Yeah. I mean, because she was like thinking it, like while she's watching it. When
exactly.
she first encounters it, she's like, wonder if this is a fairy. It looks really big and it's like really stealthy and it's not making any noise like a normal animal would. But it's about ready to eat my dinner, and it's either kill the fairy or let my family starve. So
she's kind of like, either way, I need to kill it. Like, if it's a fairy, good riddance. I should do it.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. The beast originally doesn't believe her and asks her if it had provoked her in some way. She admits that it hadn't, but the history of the treatment of humans by the Fae, the wolf probably still deserved it. So that exactly what you said. She's like, well, maybe not, but I mean, probably deserved it anyway. That was probably the wrong thing to say to the beast, though. And Feyre thinks through her family's options and knows that Nesta would try to save Elaine and leave her and her father to deal with the beast. So she's just trying to figure out an exit strategy to like either distract the beast so that maybe Nesta and Elaine can make a run for it. But she doesn't really know what to do. Feyre asks what payment the treaty requires. A life for a life. An unprovoked attack on fairy kind by humans is to be paid only with human life in exchange. Apparently that's part of the treaty. So he's telling her that's what it is. So Feyre is adamant that she wasn't aware of this part of the treaty, which the beast finds just so convenient. Oh, sure, you didn't know that, so that just excuses what you've done. She asks him not to kill her in front of her family when the beast offers a bargain. Kill her here in the human realm, or she can come live out her days in Prythian. On the other side of the wall. I was thinking it the opposite way in my head right before I said it, so that's why. She thinks about how deadly the fairy world is to humans and doesn't think that she'd live long anyway, but the beast offers to let her live on his lands. So he's like, come live with me on my lands where you'll be safe-ish, safer. I don't know. I don't even know if he uses the term safe. He just says you can come live on my lands.
Right.
This feels like a trick, though. Feyre's father tries to bargain to have him not take Feyre, and he tries to use gold as a bargaining chip. And I'm like, if the beast just looked around your little hut house, I think he'd be like, what gold? What are you talking about? Crazy pants. And so Feyre's just like, okay, leaving with the beast is most likely the only way I'm going to be able to save my family.
Right. Also, fuck your family. But I also think Tamlin, too, is like, what price would you pay for your daughter's life, too? So there's like that.
Yeah, like a little bit of just to kind of see maybe what her father places the value of her life on, right? And because, Feyre is just like, okay, well, I think this is the best thing to do. And if I refuse you, if you kill me, what's to say you're not just going to kill them right away anyway, right here? Like, at least if I go with you, I kind of have a little bit of knowledge of what's going to happen. So she agrees to go with him, and He tells her that they're leaving immediately. After he takes her ashwood arrow out of her little arrow holder and throws it into the fire.
I know.
She
I was like,
packs up. Yeah,
buckle
she
you up.
can't take that with you. Whoopsies. She packs up her meager belongings and gives a somewhat detached farewell to her family with instructions on what to do with the deer meat. Like, hey, this should last a couple more days and then you're going to need to turn it into jerky. And here's how to hunt rabbits and here's where to find them. It's just like a
Mm-hmm.
super, very not emotional farewell. She also advises Nesta not to marry Thomas. His father beats his mother, and none of her sons do anything to stop it, and she doesn't want Nesta to be forced into a similar fate. Neither of her sisters say anything to her as she's leaving, not even goodbye. Like, they just watch it
Ridiculous.
happen. Yep.
I mean, I get
And
you're
when
scared, but it's also
yeah,
what?
yeah, I know. And when she thinks her father is going to say something heartfelt to her, he tells her that if she ever gets away, to never come back, to go make a life for herself elsewhere, away from this horribly sad place. She decides not to confide in the promise that she had made on her mother's deathbed. Maybe this is her final act of keeping her family safe.
Yeah, I was impressed that her dad told her not to come back. I was like, oh, I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah.
I assume it's the only selfless thing he's ever said to her in the last 11 years, maybe her whole life. So, but I was just also
Yeah.
like, emancipate yourself from your family.
No,
You don't have
like
to
this,
love them just because they're your family.
right.
Actually, not
This
a
seems
rule.
This seems like a little bit of an opportunity. I mean, I don't know how long you'll
Yeah.
live in the Feylands, but this doesn't seem too terrible,
Mm-hmm.
actually, you know?
Seriously.
There is a giant white horse waiting for her and the beast just inside the forest tree line, and the beast indicates that she should ride it for their journey. She begins to wonder what type of life the beast is going to allow her to have in his lands. Yeah, he said that she could live there, but what conditions is she going to be in? Uh, she does know that the treaty outlaws humans becoming a slave to the fairies ever again, but there might be some kind of loophole in this since she just killed one of the fae. Like, she's like, well, I know that that's in there, but I don't know. Like, he just told me that it's a life for life, and I had no idea that that clause was in there or
Right.
whatever. Yeah.
Also, can I see a copy of this treaty? Like, where do people get their information from? No one has a copy of it. I mean, is it like, I
It's
would like to
just,
read it. I'd
yeah,
like to know.
well, yeah. But if Feyre had it, it wouldn't matter at this point. You know?
Oh, right.
So,
Burn. Okay.
the only way the humans had survived the war was by using ashwood against the fairies. And since the beast had thrown her only ashwood she had ever even seen in her whole life into the fire, she was determined to look for it now. So she's just on the back of this horse. She's looking through the woods. She kind of knows what the tree is supposed to look like. And so she's trying to see if she can find any ashwood. She's trying to rack her brain for any and all information that she knows on the Fae and their lands, but it's kept pretty secret. And she honestly doesn't know much about what she's getting herself into right now. She does know that there are 7 high Fae lords that rule the lands of Prythian, but how their territories are divided or who these high lords are, she has no idea. It's a complete mystery. Feyre is thinking about her family. Why? And while there's some smugness about the thought to them having to finally fend for themselves, it also makes her really sad to think of them having to like beg for handouts because she knows they're not going to hunt. Like, but why they weren't worried about you 5 minutes ago when you were getting taken by this massive beast. Nobody stepped up and tried to do anything. I mean, your dad
Right.
kind of tried to bargain, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I can commend her like undying loyalty, but
Right.
it's also just like I don't understand how
Mhm.
she can care at all after being
Right.
treated like that.
Yeah. She asks the beast what type of fairy he is and what his name is, but he's like, does it really matter to you? No, probably not. I'm not going to tell you. She doesn't have an answer to that and starts to fantasize about slipping away and taking her family to safety, maybe somewhere across the sea. She goes to try to talk to him again when a strange metallic tang stings her nose and she passes out. She awakens to the sun high in the sky and she's very disoriented. She realizes that the beast must have used some type of magic on her to knock her out for what had to have been at least the last 2 days. We know that that's the distance between the edge of her village and the wall. And all of a sudden, she spots a metal gate inlaid in a hedge ahead of them, and she hears birds chirping and feels a light breeze as they pass through it. The estate on the other side of the hedge sprawls across rolling green hills and is covered in flowers and vines of ivy with beautiful patios and staircases just everywhere. It's like nothing Feyre has ever seen. She doesn't think any painting she could render would do it justice. However, the grounds were completely silent. There were no sounds of people moving about. She couldn't see or hear anyone around. It's then that she realizes that it's spring here. Magic must be how they manipulate the weather to make it so different from the human realm. Feyre believes she was kept unconscious so she wouldn't know where she was or how to get back. Yeah, probably.
Valid.
Yeah. Probably 100% true on that. Yeah. She contemplates trying to make a run for it, but after dismounting the horse, she realizes that she's weak and hungry and knows that she won't make it far without any sustenance.
It's like, you won't make it far, period. Like, she thinks there's I wouldn't make it a half mile before he caught me and tore me to ribbons. I was like, bitch, you wouldn't get 10 steps. Like, who are you kidding?
No, he just like busts down your door. You don't think that he has the strength or power to like chase you down if you just turned around and walked away right now? Duh.
She has 4 legs and can use magic.
She's delirious. She's so hungry and she's so sleepy.
Yeah,
she's so hungry.
Yeah.
So she's like, all right, food first, and then I'm going to start making my escape plan. The inside of the house is equally as beautiful as the outside, and doors open to her left, indicating that she should enter. So she walks in, these doors open, and she's like, oh, I think that means I'm supposed to go in there. Okay, sounds good. There is a large table filled with food inside the room. Luckily, there's no strange fairy food, but food that she recognizes from the human realm. She was taught to never eat the fairy food or drink the fairy wine, or she would become enslaved to them.
I'm like, well, I guess you're fucked because you live there now.
I know. What are you going to do? To eat. I know, you got to do something. The beast goes to sit in a chair, and as he goes to sit down, he turns into a golden-haired man. He's a high fae. Yikes. I don't know how.
Oh my God.
I know. I don't know how she knew exactly. I think there's some lore that the high fae are like the most human-like of all.
Yeah.
In both appearance and kind of mannerisms and stuff. So she's like, oh my God, he's a
quote knows a lot of things.
Right. The top half of his face is covered with an intricate golden mask embedded with emeralds that look like leaves. She sees his pointed ears sticking out from his hair, a defining feature between humans and the Fae. His hair and coloring are the same shade as what his fur looked like when he was in his beast form. Feyre thinks it must be some type of weird fashion that they have here since he's wearing that mask. Funny.
Yeah.
While the mask is pretty opulent. Yeah.
Sorry. She's like some absurd fairy fashion. I'm like, Feyre, shut the fuck up.
She's like, why are you wearing a mask? It's so weird. While the mask is pretty opulent, he is wearing a very simple tunic and pants with a leather bandolier strapped across his chest. Feyre thinks he looks like a warrior. The man invites her to eat, but instead she asks him again, like, who are you? He doesn't answer and insists again that she eats. She brings up her fear of consuming their food, and he's like, listen, lady, it's fine. Chill. But if you don't want to eat, go ahead and go. You can live anywhere here in Prythian that you want. While she's still debating what to do, another man walks into the room. He's red-haired and finely dressed in a way that's both simple but elegant, much like the beast is in his fae form. He's wearing a mask that has fox-like features. He has a scar that bisects one of his eyebrows and goes all the way down to his jaw. The eye that this scar goes through is missing, but he has a golden orb in its place that appears to move and focus like a normal eye. Again, this is giving me a little bit of moody vibes, but it's not.
I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the whirring and moving and yucky.
Yeah.
He asks the beast if Andres is dead. The beast replies that he is, and he was killed with an ash arrow. The treaty's summons led him to the mortal girl that had killed him. This surprises the stranger, and he looks over at Feyre, and he's like, a mortal girl did this scrawny little mortal. Oh, the audacity of this girl.
I know. Feyre's like so offended. Like, and I'm like, but she's always the first one to talk shit about humans or her human self. She's like always assuming that they're thinking the worst of her, but they're just both extremely prejudiced on each side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The stranger is enraged and blames the beast's useless mercy and how now they're just stuck with Feyre. He's like, why God, why did you bring her back here?
Mhm.
This is terrible. He starts taunting Feyre about killing their friend, but the beast cuts him off with his name, Lucian. Lucian tries to tempt her into telling him what her name is, and that's a notorious trick of the fairies to give them your name. Uh, apparently
My eye
they can
rolls don't
control.
make a
Yeah.
noise, but if they did.
But before she can try to lie and stop it from happening, the beast says her name is Feyre. Her dad said it quite a few times at the cottage.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm pretty sure. Um, he tells her that Alice will take her to her room and bathe her and get her clean clothes. And then suddenly there's this short woman standing next to Feyre, and she has a simple brass bird mask on her face. As Feyre goes to walk away, Lucian begins to argue with the beast that there has to be another way. They should just get rid of the girl. Andress and the others should never have been there. But the beast cuts him off again and tells him that she's staying and that her life in that hovel was hell enough. Lucian comes back with, well, maybe she can become a border patrol agent for them. Since they lost one. The beast snarls and he's like super pissed off that Lucian is arguing with him. But this is all that Feyre can hear before she's out of range.
Yep. She's also very offended that they called her house a hovel. I suppose that's what our cottage was, but compared to this place, yes, it absolutely was. It was a one-bedroom
Yes.
cottage.
It was a shack. It was, yeah.
Like,
I mean, there was one bedroom, and her and her sister shared that bedroom in the one bed, and her dad like slept out on a pallet next to the fire.
Yeah.
It was a hovel, honey.
Yeah. Like, this isn't just to be insulting. It's like an actual accurate word to describe it.
Yes. Feyre is led to a very nice room and is bathed and groomed by Alice and a few other servants. Alice tries to convince her to put on a dress, but she refuses. She hates them, and she hasn't worn one in years. Why would you need to? You're out hunting. You better be wearing some pants, girlfriend. Get it.
She's not
Yeah.
like the other girls.
No, she's not. She just wants her grubby human clothes back. Alice goes to find out what Feyre assumes the beast wants her to do, since Feyre doesn't want to wear the dress, and notices how truly peaceful and quiet it is here. Nothing like the stories she had heard of the fairies' barbaric ways.
Yeah, she's like really having a hard time reconciling things, which she just continued going in circles. She's like, oh, this is probably a trick. Oh, but it's really nice and peaceful. And they're probably just
It's like
buttering me up to kill me or like something.
She's just like on eggshells the whole time. She like doesn't know what, like, everything that she's heard and learned about the fairies is not really being true to what she thinks or what she thought they were going to be like. So she's like, she doesn't trust anything right now.
Yeah.
Alice comes back with Feyre's old clothes in tatters. She said that they disintegrated the second they tried to wash them. Like, wow, those are really threadbare, real raggedy. Wow. Feyre still refuses the dress, so Alice brings her a tunic and trousers to wear instead that are also very finely made. Alice gives Feyre the warning that she needs to listen to everything she can while she's here, and she advises her to be wary. Even her senses will try to betray her.
Yeah, her dumb human senses.
Yeah. Alice then
her
also
internal monologue.
I just can't. Oh, she's so self-deprecating. Like, she just cannot, like, everything is just the worst, but it's like all her fault. Like, she has this so much internalized, like, well, it's all me. It can't be nothing. All these problems that are in my life, like, no one else can help me solve them. It's just me all by myself.
Right. It's like she assumes they're saying all this stuff about her when, like, she thinks it about herself.
Yeah. It's like, oh, I'm going to think this before they can tell me that. And then it's like a defense mechanism or something.
Yeah, for sure.
Alice tells her that some of the fairies she may see will be upset about her killing Andress, but he knew the risk that he was taking when he crossed the wall. She encourages her to be brave without invoking any more of the Fae's ire. So kind of like, stand your ground, but also don't push any buttons. It's going to turn out bad news for you. Lucian in particular, she says, could use some sass. So if any of them can use it, it's Lucian. You can give him a hard time as much as you want. Alice brings Feyre back to the dining room where Lucian and the beast are still sitting at the table. Feyre takes note of just how much wealth is in the room. There's fancy golden goblets. There's very fine plush rugs. The table itself is the largest table that she's ever seen. And we were all half wild beasts to the high fae, even if they were the ones who could don fur and claws. And it's like... Again, yes. The beast tries to get her to eat again, reiterating that the food is safe. And when she doesn't respond, Lucian says, I told you, Tamlin, your skills with females have definitely become rusty in recent decades. and and Feyre's and so Tamlin is the beast's name. We find out for the first time that that's the beast's name is Tamlin. Feyre also catches the use of decades, and she's like, "Oh my god, that's right. They're like immortal. They could be hundreds, maybe even thousands of years old, even though they look and appear to be closer to her age." After some banter about Feyre not wearing a dress, mostly just Lucian giving her shit, she sits down, and after taking too long to pick up her food, Tamlin stalks over and he starts filling up her plate. I imagine him being like a parent giving their kid the you are going to eat this. I'm putting this on your plate and you're going to eat it. After she still won't take a bite, Tamlin starts attempting to give her some compliments, but they land really terribly. He's like, your hair is clean now and you look better than before. It's like, wow, rein it in. Don't be giving her too many compliments right off the bat there, Tamlin. Wow.
Yeah, seriously. And it talks about Lucian giving him like an encouraging nod in the background. It's like the beast in Lumiere. Like, way to go, sire.
Good job. That was a good one. Tamlin confirms that he is a high fae when Feyre asks him, after she totally ignores his lame compliment attempt. She's just like, I'm not even going to respond to those things. Feyre's like, all right, so what the fuck am I going to do here? Like, am I your slave? Do I need to work? And Tamlin's like, yeah, I don't care. You can do whatever you want. Like, just don't care at all.
What are we doing?
Yeah. She's like, so you captured me and you're like letting me stay here, but like, what am I going to do with my time here? Like, what is there to do? So Feyre's like, listen, my family is starving. Can I just go back and help them? I was the sole provider for them. Like, if you're telling me I'm not even going to need to do anything here, can you just let me go, basically? And how else can I atone? What can I do to like make up for what I have done? And Lucian points out that she hasn't even apologized for killing the wolf yet. And so she's like, I'm sorry. And she does try to say it and mean it. But Lucian decides that let's just go big or go home. He's going to ask for a more detailed account of how she killed the wolf. And so she does. And she says the wolf just stared at her after she shot him with the first ash arrow. Lucian's like, he didn't even put up a fight? Why did you kill him and then skin him? I'm like, well, she didn't know that he was a faerie, and she like, the money's, her family is starving. Like, what was she supposed to do? Like, rock in a hard place. I don't know.
Right. Wouldn't it be worse to just leave his body there and waste all parts of him?
Exactly. Or to like, yeah. I don't know. So they bicker a little bit about Feyre being her family's main source of food, and Tamlin tells her that they're going to be taken care of, which Feyre doesn't believe. Tamlin says, some would say you should be grateful for me finding you before another one of my kind had come to claim the debt, for sparing your life and then offering you the chance to live in comfort. Oh, the foreshadowing there.
Feyre's also like repeatedly reminding herself that fairies can't lie. So anytime she hears something that she's
believing it to be truth.
Right. But she's because like, oh, they can't lie. They can that's probably something they're not telling me, but so she just keeps like having that argument with herself over and over again.
Or she's like, how have they twisted these words to make it so that they are like, they're not being 100% truthful, but they're also not lying. Like, how are they twisting this? Feyre goes to attempt to like attack him, yell at him, throw a knife at him. I don't know. But magic binds her to the chair and she can't speak. Tamlin threatens her that if she tries to go back over the wall, he'll stop making sure that her family is taken care of. So Feyre is stuck. She is stuck there. Tamlin's like, all right, conversation over. For the love of God, would you just eat? Like, done arguing with you. Just eat your food. She does, and it is so good. She's like, God damn it, this is delicious. I'm so hungry.
Like in Bridesmaids where she's drinking the fresh squeezed lemonade. She's like, God damn it, that's fresh.
Damn it. Oh, I don't want to like this, but I do. After the meal, she wants to leave, and Lucian's like, why? We're so attractive. Surely we're better company to look at than any of the human men that you're used to. And Feyre's like, why do you even want to spend time with me? Like, what is the point of this? But Lucian's like, are you in love with anyone back home? And she tells them no. and like, why do you care if I'm in love with anybody back home? It doesn't matter. I'm stuck here forever now, right? You just told me that.
Yeah.
She's being truthful though. She does not love Isaac, but she also doesn't want to like put him on the Fae's radar at all. She's like,
Yeah.
nope, there's no one, but don't go digging too deep, right?
And even
So
if there was, I wouldn't tell
tell
you.
exactly. Tamlin tells her she can go and that she can ask the staff for anything she needs. She's basically too insignificant to like bother him. He's like, don't come to me with any of your stuff. Just
But
ask
also,
the staff.
I feel like that's like in her, that's like her interpretation of it too.
Yeah. Yeah, a
Like he
little
doesn't
bit. Like I
necessarily.
don't like he doesn't like verbalize that, but he dismisses her in a way where she feels like she's insignificant, I think.
Right,
Is
right.
like so like you said, it's just her like interpretation of that.
Yeah.
She goes to her room and locks the bedroom door. And she's like, well, that's actually what is like in her internal. She's like, well, this lock is probably what's insignificant in this whole thing. Not me
Yeah.
to you, but this lock is not going to do anything to stop the fairies from coming in. Feyre wakes the next morning wondering about her family and how exactly they're being taken care of by Tamlin. She's trying to figure out his motivations for letting her stay and why he's even being a little bit nice to her about everything. When Alice comes into her room and gets hit in the face with a rope booby trap that Feyre had set in her doorway, like as if this could stop any of the like this
Right.
made me laugh so hard. She's like set a little snare trap for them.
She's like, just
And
had to do it to feel better.
yeah. And Alice is like, oh my God, you idiot. Like she's like, same point, like silly girl. Like, what are you doing? This would not stop anybody. And Feyre admits she's like, it
she's like, you ruined the
wasn't
curtains.
to like, yeah. Why did you do that? Feyre's like, I just did this mostly so I had a head start to run. And then if I was going to be attacked, I wouldn't be facing my death unawares. She's still super convinced that they're going to kill her still in some way.
Yeah.
While she's there. While Feyre is eating her breakfast, she tries to get some info out of Alice about the property and the land, but Alice won't give her much advice besides avoid the fairies, like literally all of them. Stay away from them. Alice suggests maybe a walk in the gardens, and on her way to them, Feyre remarks again just how quiet and peaceful it is in the manor. She doesn't run into any fairies again, and the huge manor just seems so empty. It's like devoid of life, and she finds this very peculiar, which I'm glad you clocked that, Feyre. I'm very proud of you for noticing that. Yeah.
This is strange.
This is weird. She finds a hallway of paintings that are beautiful. She's amazed by how lifelike they are and wishes that she could create such art as well. She runs into Tamlin just after this and he addresses her just as like, you. Like, this is so ridiculous to me. He's just like, you. He like yells at her.
Yeah.
And it's a very awkward little conversation between the two of them. And he's like, would you like a tour? And she's like, nope, I'm good. Bye. Leave me alone,
Yeah.
weirdo. He's kind of pushy about it though. And he like wants to hang out with her for some reason. And she just is like, I don't know what you want to hang out with me for. This is just a trick. And he said that she could live there, but that doesn't mean that him or the other fairies won't harm her. And Alice just told her to avoid all of the fairies. So she's like, I'm getting conflicting things here. You're trying to give me a tour, but Alice just told me to leave everyone alone. Alice didn't even exclude Tamlin in that. Like, she's like,
yeah.
avoid everyone. He's not super pleased with her telling him no all the time. And she brings up the fact that fairies aren't supposed to cross the wall. So what was that wolf doing in her realm? So she's just trying to like redirect, kind of get his brain off the fact that she doesn't want to hang out with him. She's like, why am I getting punished when he did the wrong thing first? He came over the wall first. Shouldn't that have been the breach of the treaty first? Tamlin then tells her that there's been a sickness, a blight, for the last 50 years that has caused magic to act strangely and diminish their powers, including his own, and that's why his lands are so bare of other fairies. The blight is also why he is stuck in the mask. When the blight first came about 49 years ago, he was at a masquerade and the mask has been stuck on his face and the others ever since.
I was like, oh, it's Beauty and the Beast.
This book is promoted as a Beauty and the Beast retelling. So
yeah,
it
that
all
makes
tracks.
sense.
Yep. Feyre is concerned by this, though. She's like, oh no, can this blight spread to the human realm? Tamlin carefully responds with, maybe. We don't know, but it's slow spreading, so humans should be fine. Not a big deal. He then asks if the rope trap was for him, and Feyre's like, maybe. Whoopsie. He then uses her real name when addressing her for the first time, and she's like, wow, he knows my name. But he just says it as he's dismissing her, and he's like, okay, bye, Feyre. I'll see you at dinner.
Yeah. Right, but he said her name yesterday, so
Yeah.
and he told it to Lucian. So
Oh yeah.
whatever.
But she was like shocked that he like addressed her
Yeah,
with her
yeah.
name. She's like, wow.
Mhm.
Feyre is walking in the gardens and trying to figure out how to maybe escape. She thinks that she can climb out the window of her room without difficulty, but admits to herself that if there's a blight, staying where she's at for now is probably best. She wonders if Alice or maybe even Lucian could be persuaded to make her case with Tamlin to let her return to her home. She thinks she hears footsteps on a path nearby, but no one is there. Alice calls Feyre in for lunch, and Feyre can't help but feel that there are eyes on here, and she swears that she hears giggling in the gardens. That night at dinner, again with Lucian and Tamlin, Feyre steals a knife from the table and hides it up her sleeve.
I was good luck with that.
Yeah. She starts to feel bad for them and the blight, and then is like, no, they've captured me. I do not need to feel sorry for them. She notices Lucian's very expensive and fancy sword that he wears at his belt. Lucian catches her staring and asks her if she's planning on using it on him. He's so snarky. Tamlin tries to steer the conversation to Feyre being a hunter. She tells him that she didn't really find enjoyment in hunting, but that it was necessary. And how did he notice? Like, how did he know that? And he's like, you have calluses on your hands. And it was obvious that your dad didn't hunt. Like, you had to give him instructions on what he needed to do when you left. So,
and he's like, you had all your weapons in the cottage.
Yeah. And you like were the only one looking for them and looking like you maybe were the only one who knew how to use them.
Yeah.
Lucian then asks her how old she is, and she tells him that she's 19. He's like, oh, so young and so grave and a skilled killer already.
It's like, of course she's 19.
Yeah.
They're always 19.
What is that special age? We've talked about 33 for all these men,
Oh,
but
yeah.
19 for her. Like, what
it's
does that have to-
it's the youngest you can be, and just maybe not creepy enough, because it's not like you just turned 18 and one day you were not legal and the next day you were legal. No, she had a whole year of growing and maturing.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
That's my theory.
Okay. I think that's a good one. I completely
I'm just making it up, but
yep.
Also olden times. She's basically middle-aged at 19.
She
you know
is.
what I mean?
She's almost a spinster at this point, honestly.
Yeah.
Feyre kind of snarks back when Lucian makes this remark, like, yeah, so what do you do all day? Like, you eat fine food and wear fancy weapons and you spare humans from the treaty. And Tamlin responds with, didn't your mother tell you anything about us? Brief pause. Well, we just let that marinate. Let that little quote marinate for just a tiny, tiny bit.
Who is Feyre's mom? I don't know. Cammy clearly knows something. I don't know anything.
This is not a huge spoiler alert. We don't know who Feyre's mom is. We never know. Okay. We don't get her first name ever in any of the books. But I think it's very
maybe
important.
We'll find out.
Maybe we will find out. But it's interesting that Tamlin seems to think that her mom knew about
her
the
mom
fairies.
would tell her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, why would this is not like a passing down of stories from mothers to their children. Like, he's like, didn't she tell you about us? And it's like, why would she know about you? That's what I want to know. Why would Feyre's mom know about the Fae? Okay. Feyre's like, well, no, she didn't tell us anything about you. She didn't have any time to tell me any stories. I mean, she was sick for a long time when she was young, and she had older sisters that her mom kind of paid more attention to, it seems like. So no, her mom never told her any stories.
Please tell me you've seen the like classic Secret Garden movie, because it's this exact line. My mother didn't have the time to tell me stories. That's how I read it.
In exactly that voice. Yes. I forgot about that line though. I love that.
So good. Such a good movie.
Tamlin then asks her how her mother died. Feyre tells him that her mother got typhus when she was 8 years old. She's like, I don't want to talk about this at all. So she gets up to leave, And Tamlin quietly apologizes for her loss. Not interested in their pity, she leaves them and heads up to her room to pack a small satchel to be ready for her to escape if and when she figures out how to do so. And satchel is used in the book, and satchel is just one of those words that I find very fun to say, so I had to include it.
You like it?
Yes.
Love that.
Feyre is trying to figure out a way to get Lucien alone and make her case with him to convince Tamlin to let her go. She finds out from Alice that he's probably at the stables getting ready for border patrol. On her way there, she runs into Tamlin again, and he tries to kind of joke with her, like, oh, no tripwires today? But Feyre is just still terrified of him, and she's like, no, like, ooh, don't hurt me.
Yeah. Please, sir.
He offers again today to give her a tour of the grounds, and she politely declines and hurries away before he tries to push her into it. She's just like, I'm scared of you. No, you big, scary high fae.
You monster.
She's still very confused. Like, why is he being nice to me? I don't get this. This is so bizarre for him. She finds Lucien in the stables, and he invites her to ride with him and show him how she killed his friend. She's a little uneasy with how he's announcing that she's a fae killer, like in the middle of the stables. He's like, come on, fae killer, like, show me how it's done. And she's like, well, I can't really show you because I never have hunted on horseback. I've always just kind of like stalked up and crept up on things and, shot them kind of unawares. He keeps quiet, and she's just admiring her surroundings as they head off when Lucien hangs back to start a conversation with her. This is fitting nicely into her plan. She doesn't want to seem too eager to seek him out. He asks her why she hasn't shot anything yet, because they've seen a couple of rabbits and squirrels, and she's like, I only hunted for food. You guys have plenty of food. Why do I need to kill anything? Like, that was the only reason I did it before. You guys have plenty of food. I don't need to do it. She then asks him if emissaries usually do border patrol, because that's what he is to Tamlin. And he's like, well, this was supposed to be Andros's shift, but someone had to do it now because he's gone. And she tries to apologize to him. Yeah, again. And she's like, I really mean it. I truly am sorry. And Lucien just still gives her a toot. He's like, yeah, whatever. I don't believe you at all. He then asks her when she's going to try to get him to convince Tamlin to let her go. Great plan, Feyre. He figured it out immediately.
Yeah, I LOL'd. That was funny.
He goes, I admire your balls, Feyre. I really do. Or maybe it's stupidity, but since Tam won't get you, which was my first choice, you're stuck here. So he's just like, nice try, but you're stuck. Sucks for you. She doesn't love how he obviously figured her out. So then she asks where the rest of Tamlin's court is. An estate this big has to have other people there. Now it's Lucien's turn to not be super happy about how observant she's been. And like, my, how the turntables on you, Lucien.
Oh my God. Any excuse to say that, honestly. I love that.
It's one of my favorite turntables. During this conversation, Lucien lets it slip. Word can't get back to her about any of this blight business. But when Feyre asks, he refuses to talk about it and claims that he doesn't trust her not to try to sell any information he would give her. Who is this her that's got Lucien's feathers all ruffled? Feyre tries to get some more info from Lucien, like how old he is and if he can also shapeshift. But Lucien says, nope, that's just Tamlin. And he also reveals that Tamlin turned Andros into a wolf so that he could cross the wall. Lucien doesn't have affinity for specific powers. He says the high fae just are essentially born and exist to rule. That's all that they do. He gives some examples of different fairies' abilities, like a fairy that will answer any question you ask if you trap it. Gee, that sounds like something oddly specific. That would be exactly what Feyre needs.
Right.
Someone to answer all of her questions.
Yeah.
Yes. This type of fairy is called a cereal, but he advises against trying to catch it. Suddenly, Lucien insists that Feyre put her bow down, look straight ahead, and to not react, no matter what she sees or feels. She's trembling, and her horse's ears go flat as she feels it. Yikes! Something bad's about to happen. Feyre sees something shimmering out of the corner of her eye. It got very cold, and she starts hearing a scary voice in her head telling her to just look at it. It wants to eat her and consume her flesh and drink her marrow. Gross.
Yeah.
And she tries to think of pleasant things to distract her. She thinks of a nice mossy glen and the night sky. Anywho,
With all the stars. I
with
highlighted
all
that
this.
too.
Yes. When she felt like she was going to finally give in and look, the coldness in the voice goes away. She asks Lucian if that was the cereal, but he says no. It was a different creature called the bog, or bogue. Bog. I say
Yeah, I
bog.
also don't know how to say it. I think bog is
Yep.
fine.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's go with that.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you. When you look at it or acknowledge it, that is when it becomes real and it can kill you. It is a creature that cannot be killed with normal weapons. To try to change the subject, because Feyre is freaked out by this, she asks Lucian if he's a warrior or if he had fought in the war from 500 years ago. Essentially, he's like, yeah, I can defend myself, but shit, Feyre, I'm not that old. He's like super offended. She thinks he's like could have been alive in the war 500 years ago.
But it's also like, so
But
how old are you then?
yeah, you didn't
That's
answer
an
the
answer.
question. Yeah.
Yeah.
He asks her if she knows how to wield a sword, and she tells him she does not, only how to hunt. He makes another comment about how lame humans are, and she snaps at him. And this seems to amuse him more than make him angry. She's like, shut up. Like, like, what did you expect from me? I'm like 19 and why would I have ever needed to use a sword? And it kind of loosened him up a little bit. He kind of like laughed at her and like in more of like a joking way than being like a mean laugh way at her.
Right. Yeah, he was like clearly trying to make a joke. And he's like, do you have to be so serious and boring all the
Boring.
time?
Yeah.
Boring.
But Alice was right. Lucian needs someone to put him in his place. He actually enjoys it, it seems. Whatever form of truce or bond that they had formed on their ride went out the window, though, when they returned to the manor for dinner. Tamlin is waiting for them, and he is pissed that they returned together. And Lucian, I just imagine him, like, they both step into the room, and then Lucian, like, steps behind her. And he's like, you got this, girl. Like, you deal with Tamlin. And so Feyre is, like, left to kind of explain their day and their adventures that they went on, all by herself, because Lucian's a coward. So... however, Lucian does tell Tamlin that they ran into the bog. It must have snuck through the border, and Tamlin is pissed. His claws come out of the tips of his fingers, and I'm just going to apologize. This happens a lot when he's really upset. When he's getting emotional, his claws come out, and this has happened before, and I have not mentioned it up to this point, and I'm so sorry that I
don't even worry about it.
Yep. Tamlin asks where they were when they had found the bog, and he leaves to go hunt it down. Lucian says Tamlin is the only one that can kill it. Feyre returns to her room after a quiet dinner with Lucian and watches out her window for Tamlin to return. But when she hears a noise below in the garden and looks to see if it's him, she sees a different man, her father. Yeah. She grabs her satchel that she had previously packed and climbs down the vines outside her window. She goes as quietly as she can through the gardens as she sees her father moving towards the gate, but she's stopped by a clawed hand. Tamlin, again! Yeah.
Foiled.
I know. He's super pissed that she's trying to run away, but she's like, hello, my dad is right there. Like, this isn't a whim. Like, I saw my dad. Tamlin looks up and then he urges her to look again. Her father is no longer there, but it's now a bow and a quiver of ash arrows. Then it changes again. The image of it kind of blurs, and now it's her sisters. And then it's back to her father again. Tamlin's like, weren't you warned not to trust things here? And that she'd be better trying to escape during the day. Even worse, fairies come out at night, like the one that is trying to lure her right now. He asks her what she wants, and she's like, I want to go home. Like, obviously, that's what I want to do. I want to leave this place. Like, and it just... Yeah.
Yeah. This is kind of sad because the thought that she would even think her dad really came when he's like, where have you been for the last 11 years? One, and he also told you to never come back. And he's crippled and like all of this stuff.
Yeah.
It's so out of character for him, but
yeah. It's like the last, like, it feels like it was her last little bead of hope that she had, that maybe like she was like, oh, maybe he does really care, maybe he would come save me. And then it's
right.
Yeah,
and I think she also is like, clearly Tamlin is not taking, whatever he did for them is not good enough if her dad would come to look for her too.
So that's another thought process too. She's like, oh, he was lying, like he wasn't being as truthful as he said about that or something.
Yeah.
She then reveals the vow that she had made to her mother on her deathbed to keep her family safe, and he points out that she still is keeping that promise. In fact, they're better off now compared to when she was there because he's taking care of things. This makes her lonely, though. Like, what is her purpose now
Yeah.
without needing to provide for them or to kind of protect them? She can
Mhm.
admit that she feels like a bit of a weight has lifted, like maybe she can be more free now and still be upholding her vow. It's like,
Yes, except.
yeah, you can do it. You can do it.
Mm.
She starts walking back to the manor with Tamlin and asks him where the rest of his centials are and if he was trained as a warrior. He tells her he was. His father trained him, and the running of these lands, he reveals, was not supposed to fall to him. He seems sad about this, so Feyre changes the topic and asks what kind of fairies are out there. He tells her a puka was what was trying to lure her out. They use your own desires to get you to follow them to a remote place before killing and eating you. They especially like the taste of humans. Yeah, yucky. The reason they're around now is part of the blight. They can't keep their borders as well protected with magic anymore. Feyre asks Tamlin what else has changed since the blight, and Tamlin's simple response is everything. Sad.
Mhm.
The next few days went much the same. Feyre accompanies Lucian on his patrol shift, and Tamlin hunted down the bog. Tamlin was relentless in his search and was gone day and night, and Feyre only saw him briefly at mealtimes. Feyre notices that this behavior worries Lucian as well. Lucian says that Tamlin can be very stubborn about accepting help and that it would make him look weak to his people if he had asked for it. It's already bad enough that the bog was able to come into his lands in the first place. Feyre has a dream of killing a wolf, and there's a shadow watching behind her. Excuse me? A fucking shadow? But as she killed the wolf, it turns into a high fae man. Bummer.
Yeah, she's just really starting to feel guilty about killing
Hmm.
Andrus. Andrus?
Yeah. Andrus.
Andros?
Yeah. This dream was very distressing to Feyre, and she couldn't go back to sleep. She gets up and starts walking around the manor with a pen and paper mapping the place out. She only was ever taught the very basics of letters and reading, and she's essentially illiterate. So she feels like even if Tamlin found the map she's making, he probably would have no idea what it meant.
But it's a map. It's a drawing. Like, you don't really need words. She's like, no one would ever be able to know what this is. I'm so illiterate and stupid. I'm like, also, why do you even need a map? Just walk around a lot and figure out where everything is. What is the purpose of your map?
You're also like an art. Well, you paint and stuff. You have some artistic
you can't,
ability.
draw. Yeah.
So a little far fetched to like think that. Anyway,
right.
Yeah.
Okay, whatever.
She gets to the main foyer, and Tamlin comes in through the doors in his beast form. He's slightly limping and dripping blood and turns back into his fae form. His clothing is shredded, but the skin underneath is smooth, like he was untouched. Tamlin confirms that he killed the bog, but he seems to be in a bit of a daze. Feyre points out the blood on his hand and asks him if he's hurt. He doesn't answer, but looks down to see her crude map and comments that she can't write. He looks at it, he's like, I don't know what you're trying to do, but this is weird. So I'm imagining her like making weird symbols for things like this is a window, but she doesn't know how to spell window. So it's like, this is my caricature for a window indicator or something. Like, it can't just be a window. Anyway, before she can be embarrassed by it or say anything back, he follows up with, no wonder you became so adept at other things. Like, you didn't have this ability, so you honed your skills in other ways, basically. She's not sure if he realizes he gave her a compliment here and offers to help him clean off the blood. She can't help but feel sorry for him in this moment. He leads them to the infirmary, and Feyre gets what she needs to start cleaning up his injured hand, and he just watches her the whole time. Once she's finished and goes to leave him, he asks her about how she knows how to hunt, but not how to write. Like, how did that even happen? That's kind of a weird thing to be able to do. And she's like, well, that's what happens when you're responsible for lives other than your own, isn't it? You just do what you have to do.
Right.
And
I'm also like, writing is not a prerequisite for knowing how to hunt.
Right.
I would say most people that know how to hunt in the whole of human existence did not know how to write.
Yeah.
What?
I know, it's kind of
not.
And I don't know if he was just like, you're so skilled in that thing, like, why would you have not been ever taught this other, like, kind of essential life skill a little bit. Like, I don't know if that's kind of what he was pointing at, but it was just kind of a weird comment. Like you
Right, or
said,
it's
like,
like,
well,
if you
one
could teach
doesn't
yourself, yeah, how to hunt, why couldn't you teach yourself how to write or something like that?
well, because writing is not necessary to survival in Feyre's world,
Right, right,
so
right.
that's why.
I mean, there's probably, like,
Um,
a lot of people in her village that also don't everyone's poor. They probably
right.
also don't know how to read or write.
Yeah, there's no
Like
thought of, like, schooling, like, her sisters
mm,
had tutors before their
right, right.
family lost their money, so it yeah, it doesn't make sense 100%, but
Yeah.
he then tells her she's not what he expected for a human. She leaves him there without another word. The next morning, Feyre intends to really look at the artwork along the walls. When she doesn't see any servants around, she's like, all right, cool. I can just kind of look at this artwork and kind of be on my own.
Mhm.
But she hears male voices coming from the dining room. She sneaks closer to eavesdrop. Yeah,
As
as
one does.
Mhm. And it's Tamlin and Lucian arguing about what Tamlin is doing. The borders are shit and letting in all these bad fairies, and Lucian is insinuating that there's a way to fix all of this, but Tamlin is just sulking. He won't do whatever needs to be done. He's going to continue with
Mhm.
the way things are and just kill all the bad fairies that keep invading his land. Tamlin's like, I'm doing all that I can. Don't you think I know the cost of all of this? Feyre's like, wow, the blight is probably worse than what they've led me to believe. And she accidentally makes a noise against the door.
Mhm.
She knows that their Fey hearing would have heard it. So she steps into the doorway and smiles, totally giving herself away uh, because she hasn't smiled at all since she's been there. So she like walks in, she's like, hi. And they're like, what's wrong? What's going on? And she asks Lucian if he's going for a ride that day, but he tells her that he can't, but that Tamlin can go with her. Fiddlesticks. She does not want to be with Tamlin. It's
Yikes.
it's kind of funny because it's obvious that neither of them really want to, but Tamlin tells her that they can do whatever she wants, and she tells him like, "Hey, just so you know, I don't want to go for a hunt. I actually hate
Mhm.
hunting." Tamlin muses that that's why her and Lucian go out to hunt and never come back with anything. Like he's trying to like make some conversation and kind of make some jokes, and everything's just like right over her head.
Yeah.
Or she's like still so afraid of
Mhm.
him that she doesn't want to have any of that type of like banter back and forth yet.
Yeah.
To to change the subject, she asks about his hand that still has the bandages on it that she had put on him last night. He somewhat apologizes for not thanking her for this and tells her that the bog's bite is designed to slow high fae healing for long enough in order to kill them, and he appreciates her helping him. He's curious how she learned how to dress wounds, and she's like, well, needed to figure it out in order to survive like everything in her life she's
Right.
had to teach herself how to do.
Yeah.
Um
And it's like all these skills go hand in hand.
right.
Like
Hunting,
hunting
dressing.
and dressing wounds and, like, doing and they're all, "Oh my god, how did you know how to do this? And
Like,
this? And
it's
then
like
this thing?"
understanding
It's like
anatomy is essential to hunting and then taking care
right.
of your wounds. Like, hello. And he then asks her, has anyone taken care of you? Which is like, I mean, we love that type of
Acts of
line.
service are my love
Mm,
language.
mhm. She responds and she doesn't really want to think too hard about the fact that it's no one has ever taken care of me.
Right.
Um, he then asks if she was ever going to use the knife that she stole from the table. Yeah, you really thought you were going to get that by him, didn't you? Um, and he says to her, regardless of the treaty, if you want to stand a chance at escaping my kind, you'll need to think more creatively than stealing dinner knives. But with your affinity for eavesdropping, maybe you'll someday learn something valuable. Like, whoops, double caught. I'd do things. Whoopsie. Bear's like, well, since you know that I was listening, I might as well ask, what did Lucian mean that you were running out of time? Is the blight spreading faster than you thought? And he's like, well, yeah, things could get bad, but maybe if we're cauldron blessed, we'll be able to make it out on the other side. I'm immortal and I have plenty of time to figure this out. All Feyre can think
Mhm.
is, though, she's not going to survive long if this turns into some kind of war. Tamlin then goes and leads them to the study.
The study.
Yeah.
Feyre wants to write a letter to her family to let them know that she's safe, relatively speaking, and to warn them about the blight. How she's going to craft this letter, TBD. Since she can't really read or write, and she's way too embarrassed to ask for help. she can't even imagine that. She also doesn't know how she'll get the letter to her family. She thinks about begging Lucien for a favor, but then immediately thinks, Lucien seemed convinced I'd turn spy the moment I could, and he'd no doubt burn the letter. And I was like, so that will happen whether he helps you write the letter or not. Part of her was like, I can't have him help me write the letter. He can't know what's in it. I was like, you think he's going to deliver your letter to your family without reading it? Like,
Or like you could be telling him what you want the letter to say, and he could be writing something totally different and you won't even
yeah,
know
that
it.
too.
Like, who
Yeah,
cares?
but she imagines him and Tamlin being like typical ignorant human if she asks for their help, and I'm like, I mean, not all humans are dumb, Feyre, but you are. Just kidding, it's not her fault. She does like ascribe a lot to Lucien and Tamlin. We kind of talked about this. Like, she thinks she's dumb, so she assumes they think she's really, really dumb, like extra.
Right.
But she works all day and gets up early the next morning trying to research and write this letter. She's also making a list of words she doesn't know how to pronounce, and her letters are all malformed and shaky. And this is another thing where I was like, but you're an adult with fine motor skills. Like, why is it so difficult for you to write letters? Does everyone have to practice? I just assume kids are bad at writing letters because, like, they're kids and they're bad at doing everything. But does everyone have to practice? Most letters are straight lines or
I
like
know.
little curves.
I mean, the only thing I could think of is like if this is supposed to be like real fancy like lettering, if she doesn't know how to
Yeah,
make
like
cursive, for
cursive. Yeah.
exactly. Because that could, I mean, that could
I guess that would make sense.
genuinely, yeah, like that could genuinely be difficult to both read and write. Like if you don't know how
Right.
to really do either. So that was
Yeah.
my only thing that I was trying to give her like a little bit, just like a little bit of
I
wiggle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now that you say it, I bet it's all cursive.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But she's so embarrassed by this, her list or whatever. And I'm like, the worst part's, oh, they already know that you can't read or write. Like, you're not keeping a secret. I was just
No.
so dumb. So Feyre takes a break and wanders through the study. It's really kind of like a library. There's books everywhere, but and finds a mural that depicts the story of Prythian. It begins with it's like the creation story. It begins with a mighty black cauldron held by glowing, slender female hands in a starry, endless night. The hands tip the cauldron over, and liquid symbols fall out of it. And they're like runes. Whatever this liquid goo is, it's dumped to the void below, and it pools on the earth to form the world. So these are all like displayed in different panels. The mural includes a map that shows the whole world, not just the continent that Feyre is on now. And so at this point in the mural, the entire map belongs to the Fae, and Feyre thinks to herself that there's no sign of humans. I suppose we'd be as low as pigs to them. Like, why the fuck would they be on there? It's a map of the world. The map of the world.
And it's
Ugh.
like their interpretation
And
of
it's a
it.
fairy world, right?
Yeah.
Like,
So, okay.
ugh. Then there's a huge battle scene depicted of the war between the fairies and the humans, and it seems that the humans didn't survive this battle, but yet the next panel is another map of the current world showing how the realms are divided. Everything north of the wall went to the fairies, everything south was left as a blur of nothing. Quote, a decimated, forgotten world, as if the painter couldn't be bothered to render it. But then Feyre goes on to say that she's never seen a depiction of the North. So, like, why would this fairy map and mural show the human realm?
Right.
Maybe they've never been there. They don't know.
Then what I was going to say about this too is just like, you have never seen maps of the Fae, like territories in the mortal realm. So why are you
Yeah.
so concerned about not seeing, any of the human stuff in this like depiction? You're in the land of the Fae. Like they're going to have their own history and their own
Mhm.
depictions and beliefs of things. Like it was just like kind of
Right.
a weird observation for her to kind of get all pissy about. I kind
Yeah.
of felt
I
like
mean, I
so.
think I feel like she takes every observation she has and spins it of like, how is this an insult personally to the human race? I must describe it to something. Like, I'm just like, get over
Right.
yourself. Okay. And then she does even mention too, like their lands are crammed in comparison. Like they had to concede a lot of land to the south, but
Mm-hmm,
yet
mm-hmm.
she's. It also says our massive island had fared well for Prythian by comparison, with only the bottom tip given over to us miserable humans. Ugh. So from the map, whatever. So like Prythian does take up the most of the continent that they're on.
Mm-hmm.
But from the map, Feyre realizes that she's in the lands of the Spring Court, which makes sense. It's springtime. The 6 other courts of Prythian are autumn, summer, winter, dawn, day, and night. The night court is at the very top. It's mountainous, cold, a land of lethal beauty, she thinks. Then in the very center of the land, there's a small snowy mountain range. And from that, there's this mammoth solitary peak, like in the middle. No clues about what it might be or if it's important. I was like, oh, look, Feyre, a map without words. You didn't even need to write words on your map. But Feyre assumes that viewers are already supposed to know what this mountain is, and that's probably why it's not labeled. Feyre goes back to her table and is looking at a children's book, but she can't read it. Again, she's so embarrassed, so angry about this. Tamlin shows up, and he offers to help Feyre write a letter to her family. Feyre, again, embarrassed. She panics, thinking about the information he might be guessing she is trying to send to her family. So she replies, help? You mean a fairy is passing up the opportunity to mock an ignorant mortal? It's like, Feyre? Remind me to punch you later. What the fuck? Shut up.
It's like, I'm going to insult myself first before you can do it. That's the only thing that I can think of. It's like, I'm going to just, I'm just going to beat my own self up. So there's literally nothing you can say to me that.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know. I'm like, be nicer to Feyre. She's had a really hard life. She has really good qualities. And I like feel better. And then she does something else. And I'm like, fuck you. God. Okay. Anyway. And Tamlin's like, why would I mock you for a shortcoming that isn't your fault? Plus, I owe you for fixing my hand. And Feyre can only focus on the word shortcoming. And she's like, it is a shortcoming. I can't reveal how dumb I really am. And Tamlin's all like, you think I just want to make fun of you all the time? Like, what? Yeah. And short answer is, yeah, Feyre does think that. She says that.
Yeah.
They get in a little fight. Tamlin's obviously jealous that Feyre will hang out with Lucien and not him. And Feyre's like, Lucien doesn't pretend to be anything but what he is. And Tamlin's not sure what that means. And I'm not either, because you don't even try to hang out with Tamlin or get to know him at all.
And I think Tamlin is also like, Lucian's hiding just as much shit as I am. Like, what the like, what do you mean? Like,
right.
Why do you think that? Is it just because you've spent more time with him that you just don't think that he's as like he's got just as much stuff? Like, I don't know.
Yeah. It's like, it's kind of unclear, like, why she decides to like and trust Lucy. I mean, I don't know if she trusts him, but why she feels comfortable like hanging out with him.
Or like why she gravitates more towards him.
Right. I guess she doesn't think he's as powerful as Tamlin.
True.
I guess he's not, but I'm still like, it really doesn't matter, Feyre.
Right.
Who knows? So then Tamlin's like, you don't trust me. And Feyre says, of course I don't. You're a fairy. Capital F. But I was like, but maybe you don't trust him because he kidnapped you.
And not just because of that.
Right. Not just because he's a fairy. Well, I'm like, that's a good reason. But then Tamlin says, you aren't what I had in mind for a human. Believe me. Which I interpreted as like, you're not meeting the assumptions I had about humans. Like, you're exceeding my expectations, or like you're not what I expected. Feyre, however, is like wounded by this. And she thinks, in stupid Nesta's voice, illiterate, ignorant, unremarkable, proud, cold. She storms out. But I'm like, if you think Tamlin thinks that about humans, right? He says, you're not what I expected for a human. And she thinks all of those words, then that means he doesn't think you're those things.
Right.
Like, what are we doing?
I know.
Why are you upset about this?
It's such a, yeah. So,
yeah.
It's
I mean,
tough.
she is 19.
Yes.
And she's actually uneducated. So
yeah.
So later that afternoon, Feyre goes back to get her crumpled up list of words that she doesn't know how to pronounce because she threw it away earlier in a fit of rage. But the list is gone and the books have been disturbed. She's like, it's probably just a survey. Don't freak out. But and she starts writing in these books too. She's like, Tamlin can afford to replace a book or two. I was like, how dare you? How dare you?
Never write in someone else. Well, you don't write in books in general. That's my
right. I was like, I'm actually mad at you. Yeah. Madder than I already was. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Sacrilege. And then she's like, am I dumb for not letting him write the letter for me? Yes, you are. And she thinks, I have a quote, I'd been equally foolish for feeling a shred of pity for him, for the lone brooding fairy, for someone I had so stupidly thought would really care if he met someone who perhaps felt the same, perhaps understood, in my ignorant, insignificant human way, what it was like to bear the weight of caring for others. What are you talking about? You've had like no communication with him at all. and,
You're just making assumptions
it's
on.
like wallowing.
Yes, yes.
Um, yeah, and then she thinks again about how fairies can't lie, and I'm like, "Oh my god, we get it." She said this so many times, but they can withhold information. So what aren't they telling her about the blight? Is there a loophole about the treaty that they're conveniently able to hide from her? And so she goes looking for Lucian. She wants answers, and Lucian tells Feyre that he was on the northern border dealing with some shit, and that Tamlin has just gone to deal with something else. So Feyre convinces Lucian, convinced. She really doesn't have to try hard at all to
Mm.
tell to get him to tell her how to trap the Surreal, which is the fairy that will answer all of your questions if you catch it. Lucian's also basically like, "Don't tell Tamlin I told you, and I'll be around in case you need help."
Mhm.
So Feyre heads out to the woods. She follows all of Lucian's directions. The woods are like deserted, but she still sees things out of the corner of her eye. Like when she looks, they're gone.
It's like sparkles. Like, she keeps seeing, like, shimmering or something, like, in her peripheral, and then it's like she will turn her head to try to look that way, and they're just gone. She's it's weird. It's weird.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I know. It does feel like you're like, oh my God,
Yeah.
something bad's gonna happen. But yeah, she just can't lock her eyes on whatever it is that they're. So she thinks to herself, shortcoming or no, I could still hunt. Shut the fuck up. Anyway, she finds the right spot, sets her trap, and waits. Like she had to go to a, special place and be by water because the serial won't jump over water so she can run away from it. The serial eventually does show up and it gets caught. Woohoo! And as Feyre approaches, she's like, my human instincts were telling me to run. And I was like, oh my God, Feyre, are you human? I had no idea. Anyway, the Suriel, I don't know, he looks like a skeleton with skin. Jury's still out if it's a boy or a girl. We have
I
conflicting.
I know. I think it's a girl, but that's okay. It's okay.
Yeah. Whatever. Either way, it's giving Dementor vibes.
Yes, yes.
The Suriel, they are pissed. The Suriel's pissed. It's like, ask me your questions and let me go. I have fairy things to do. I'm too old for this shit. And so the Suriel confirms that there is no loophole in the treaty. Boo, Feyre's stuck in comfort and warmth forever and doesn't have to deal with her stupid family anymore. Oh, I'm so sad.
Wah, wah.
Then Feyre finds out that Tamlin is the High Lord of the Spring Court. She's like, oh, that's how he was able to kill the bog. And then the Suriel tells Feyre to stay with the High Lord.
Which makes sense in the context of this
Right.
situation, but you're being pretty vague here, babe. Surreal. You're just.
There are 7 High Lords.
Yeah, which one?
Um,
Which one?
And and the High Lord will protect her from the blight. The Suriel says there's another fairy kingdom to the west called Hybern, which is ruled by an evil king. The king of Hybern is not happy with the treaty because it forced him to give up his human slaves and stay on his little island. So 100 years ago, he dispatched his most loyal commanders and warriors to infiltrate the High Fae courts and kingdoms around the world. And they gathered information for him for the first 50 years, but then 50 years ago, one of his commanders disobeyed him. The Suriel is going to say more, but suddenly these other fairies show up called the Naga, and the Suriel does not want to get caught by them. So he's like, let me go. And as Feyre goes to cut the rope, the 4 Naga show up in the clearing.
It's very interesting that this Hybern commander had sent out, his people to infiltrate. And 50 years ago, one of his commanders disobeyed him. That's the length of the blight. Interesting coinky
And how long
dinkies.
they've been stuck in these masks.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
Okay, so the Naga are scary. Feyre does shoot an arrow and frees the Suriel first, and Suriel takes off running, and then Feyre shoots one of the Naga and kills it. Chase sequence ensues. Feyre's trying to book it out of the woods. She gets pretty far, but the Naga catch up to her, and she stabs one of them, and then, Beauty and the Beast style, Tamlin shows up and saves her. He fights off the wolves.
Exactly.
And I can't tell if Feyre's now more scared of Tamlin or what. She's still like reeling from the fact that he's a High Lord. He's the High Lord of the Spring Court. But I'm like, High Lord or not, he's still just as dangerous to you. It's like, what does that really change? It's like, oh no, I thought he was a bear, but it turns out he's a tiger. You're still fucked.
Yes. And I think the only thing that I could think is that she knew he was big and scary, but she had never really watched him like have to use like his strength or any of that stuff. And so it was like ooh, she got a firsthand account of him killing the Naga because he like gutted them. It like talks about him shredding their innards and stuff. So it's like it seemed like it
Yeah.
was really gory. So it's like all of those fears were just like brought to life in front of her face. I think that was what her
Right. That makes
fear
sense.
was. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. You always make me feel better. Like, there, you idiot. And you're like, well, I think it's because of this. Like, thank you.
I-
Okay. um, then Feyre also can't believe that Tamlin saved her. That he thought she was worth saving. Feyre, please, for the love of God.
Mhm.
Tamlin heals Feyre's wounds. It also feels like Feyre sort of feels bad for killing the Naga? Question mark.
Yeah, just kind of like guilty. Like, or I at first I was like, oh, maybe she feels bad because Tamlin just watched her kill another Fae. Like, is he going to be mad at her? Like, I know that he
Mhm.
like came up but I wonder if he's just kind of like, well, their lives are still more important than yours. Like, that's the only thing I could kind of
Right.
think of being like, why did you make me do this and kill these beings that are, more important than you are, kind of thing, or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Because Farrah's like, we're both bloody. Maybe that makes me just as much of a beast as him. But I was like, the Naga are evil? You had to
Mm-hmm.
for self-defense? Like,
Yeah.
you had no choice. They were gonna eat
Mm-hmm.
you. Um, Probably worse. So Feyre and Tamlin get back to the manor, and Feyre's like, okay, stay with the High Lord. Check. And Feyre senses in Tamlin a deep, unending sort of shame and defeat. So Feyre is recovering from her ordeal, and she gets all clean and stuff. And then Feyre asks Alice if there's going to be a war, and Alice is basically like, shut your mouth. Don't worry about that. Alice also knows Feyre trapped a Suriel today, and she's like, that was really dumb of you. Feyre gets all defensive and is like, if you had a family, you'd have done the same. And then Feyre is shocked to learn that Alice does have a family. Like, duh, everyone has a family. She assumes Alice doesn't because she's not wearing a ring.
Well, and exactly. It's like just because she doesn't have an obvious marker. I mean, like she could have brothers, sisters, cousins, parents. There's all manner of family besides being married that you would be
Yeah,
concerned. Like you yourself are concerned for your sisters and your
I was
dad.
just going to say that. Like, what are you talking about? You don't have a ring, Feyre?
But you're
So
still
weird.
concerned about your family. Anyway, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So anyway, then Alice tells Feyre, she has two nephews that live far away. And she doesn't really tell them a ton about them, but basically, like, she came to the spring court to protect them, like after her sister was
Mm-hmm.
killed. Then Alice is like, the next time you want to trap the Suriel, just give him a new robe. Don't do all this, dog and pony show that Lucien told you. And I was like, oh, gee, I wonder if that information will be important later.
I wonder if that could be helpful. Gee, maybe
Yeah.
we should file that away for a later use. Huh?
Right.
Yeah.
Tuck that in your back pocket. Oh, Feyre eats dinner with Lucien and Tamlin. Tamlin still doesn't know Feyre trapped the Suriel. And then Feyre finds out that fairies can, in fact, lie. I was like, finally, oh my God, so happy this conversation happened.
Right.
Oh my God. Yeah, that they can lie and that iron does nothing to them, but ash is legit. And Feyre's like, oh my God, what else might they have been lying to me about this whole time? And she's starting to realize that Tamlin acts more like the children of the blessed portray the Fae rather than the legends. Also, really quick, I'm like, and Feyre wasn't embarrassed by this. She's embarrassed that she can't read or write, but she's not embarrassed that this whole time she was like, Fae can't lie. And then when she tells them that, she's like so confident about it. She's like, I know you can't lie, eating her food and stuff. I'm like, that was embarrassing, Feyre. That was actually embarrassing. You should be embarrassed.
That was legitimately embarrassing, not
Yeah.
not the fact that you can't read or write. Like, come on.
Right. I'm like, it's not your fault. Anyway, yeah, she's starting to realize Tamlin's maybe civilized. Lucien leaves dinner, and Feyre and Tamlin are alone. And Feyre's like, I'm alone with the most dangerous being I've ever encountered. Once again, he's just as dangerous to you as he was before.
Mm-hmm.
They have a nice little convo, and she tells Tamlin she caught the Suriel. And Tamlin's worried about what it might have told her, but he is impressed that she was able to catch it. Feyre's like, what? Like it's hard? Elwood style. And I was like, finally banter and not just like immediate cynicism and assuming that he's like insulting you.
I know. And it's like, it's really funny. Like, Alice is shocked that she did that. Lucien is shocked that she was successful. Tamlin is. And exactly like, what? Like, it's hard? Like,
Right, right. She's like, "I'm so
just
easy."
this would have been the perfect time to be like, "Yes, some lowly, stupid human totally
I
got
know,
the cereal."
exactly,
Yes.
exactly, exactly. So then Tamlin pulls out Feyre's list of words and asks about it. Feyre cannot abide. She's like, "I'm out of here. How dare you touch my list?" Yeah, and again, you already did something way more embarrassing, thinking that they couldn't lie. And they talk about Feyre's family. It's like Tamlin kind of stops her. And Tamlin offers again to help her write a letter, and he seems to realize how much Feyre sacrificed to take care of them, etc. But Feyre is just being proud and is like, "I don't need your pity." She thinks everybody's pitying her. Meh. And Tamlin's like, "Can we just be friends? Can we be friendsies?" She's like, "I don't know. Can fairies be friends with stupid, dumb, disgusting, idiot humans?" All those adjectives were added by me, but the like the
Sentiment is
sentiment
the
is
same.
still
Yeah. Mhm.
there. Yes, they can. Actually, there were fairies who fought with humans in the war, and that's how the humans were able to hold their own and even get to a point where the treaty could be established.
I'm really glad that this was brought up because up until this point, I think that you're kind of like, okay, how did they survive? Like just with
Right.
Ashwood weapons? Like their magic is pretty
Mhm,
strong. She
mhm.
hasn't seen too much of the magic that can be used, but even just to control the weather, for example, in each of their courts, like she can tell it's always spring in the spring court, and there's
Right.
magic that is associated with that. So if they can do that
Right.
constantly with the weather, what else could they really do? Like you have to know that
Mhm.
there's no way. There's no
Right.
way, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And they're way stronger and they're faster and, you
Mhm.
know.
Yeah.
Um, so of course Farrah's mind blown by this. And Tamlin's like, I would I'd always stand up against slavery and tyranny. And Farrah's like, "Am I a selfish asshole? Like I'd only try to protect my family and I'd pick the side that would keep them safest." Fa- You'd pick the side that would keep them safest? Feyre.
Yeah. But like part of me is also like thinking about that. I'm like, in any type of conflict or situation, if you are truly looking out for your family, aren't you going to pick the like maybe maybe not ultimately, but your first choice is going to be the one that keeps your family the most safe. That kind of
Mhm.
that tracks. Like you're going to do the thing that is going to protect them the best.
Yeah.
Later you can come into morals and stuff like that, but it's kind of like there's not much of an argument there. Like I feel like sometimes those maybe should go hand in hand, right? Like you're going to keep them in a situation where they're going to have the most beneficial and best life going forward, which would not be in slavery
Mhm.
and tyranny. So of course you would have you know what like I felt like that reaction of hers was a little
Yeah.
bit just kind of
But,
meh.
like, my thought to this is, like, say the evil king of Hybern came and he's,
Mhm.
like, gonna destroy he's gonna, like,
Mm.
kill all of the Fae, and Fae is like, "Well, that's not the right thing to do, but my family's gonna be safe, so I'm not gonna do anything."
Yeah. That's true.
Like,
That's true.
like, that's
Yeah.
kind of how I'm imagining.
Yeah, maybe that was more of her thought process because at first I was like, well, if the one side is either going to enslave your parent, you know what I mean, or keep you and your family
Right, right,
enslaved
right,
versus
right.
like in that particular one, like I don't think that that's selfish for you to pick us. Anyway, yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
I get what you're saying that you're probably way more correct on that than
Yeah.
what I was
So,
thinking on
yeah,
that.
that's
Yeah,
right, right, right. I
yeah.
can definitely see, like, your argument, though. It's like, yeah, yeah, if you pick the right side, that's trying to keep
Do the right
everyone
thing.
safe. Right.
That
But I feel like she would be like, "Well, this side's just not gonna hurt me,
or
and
this is
I'm
gonna
gonna
be the
do it."
less likely side that they're gonna die. Like, this side's gonna be the winning
Mhm.
side. That might not be the best side or the moral
Right.
side, but they're the winning side, and that's where I'd rather be so that we're safe, which yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So then Tamlin tells Feyre that her family's memories have been glamored, so they think Feyre went to live with a rich relative, and they are fed and cared for. And they know there have been rumors of a threat in Prythian and to run if any warning signs occur. So, Feyre, your letter is unnecessary.
Yeah.
At first, Feyre cannot believe Tamlin's very audacity that he would change their memories without their consent, but then she realizes that they are safer and happier than she could ever have made them. So now they'll probably just forget about her, and she can't really blame them. What? Why not? Why do you hate yourself? Just kidding, I know why, but
I know,
still.
but it's like your only, like, sense of self-worth was so wrapped up in what you provided to your family, and that was just so sad
Mhm.
that she's like, "Well, now they are probably better off and happier without me," and it was just like,
Right.
I don't like that."
And
I'm
yeah,
just
it's like your self-worth, which you had none because
Yeah.
they still were, like,
Mhm.
mean to you. It'd be one thing too if, like, at least in like the Hunger Games and Katniss. Her sister, like, they have a
Right.
great relationship.
Yeah, I
She's
know.
doing it for, like, a loving family.
Exactly. Very true. Very true.
So then Feyre's like, "Well, shit, I guess I need a hobby." And she asks Tamlin for paints and stuff, and he agrees, and also he wants to show her his art gallery. And so hopefully her human eyeballs will be able to take in all the beauty, and that's sure to be in there. And Tamlin smiles, and Feyre, she gets the butterflies. Oh, snap.
Ooh. Oh, snap. Mhm.
It's happening. It's happening. So then Feyre wakes from a nightmare to shouts and screaming. Yeah, she's had some pretty traumatic fairy experiences lately.
Yeah.
But anyway, here comes another one. She runs downstairs, and Tamlin is bringing in a fairy that has had his wings torn off, like ripped off of him. The fairy's from Summer Court and was dumped over the borderline. And the fairy keeps repeating, "She took my wings," which, yeah, it's like very
Ooh.
disturbing,
It's
horrifying.
like a limb. Like, imagine, like, your arms getting
Yeah,
ripped off. It's part of them.
right.
It's yes, yes.
Did you ever watch Maleficent with Angelina Jolie?
No, I did not.
Um, her wings get stolen.
Oh,
Yeah,
yikes. Ouchie.
I know. She's real sad. That's why she has a cane and she's all
Mm,
scary.
mhm.
Yep, yep.
Yep.
Um,
Her origin
Feyre,
story.
yes, her villain
Yes.
origin story.
Origin story. Mhm.
So I know, and guess who fucked her up? A dude. All paths lead back to
Mm,
a bad
yeah.
man.
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay. Anywho, Feyre runs downstairs and helps restrain the fairy, but Lucian can't deal with the gore and has to leave. I think he also throws up.
He does.
Tamlin
Yeah.
can't. Yeah, poor buddy. Tamlin can't use his magic to heal the wound. He says he can't use it for major damage. He could once, but not any longer. The damn blight. Guessing it's
Mhm.
part of the curse or whatever creeping menace is in Prythian. Tamlin and Feyre stay with the fairy. They comfort him until he dies. And then Tamlin takes Feyre back to her room afterward and refuses to let her come with him to bury the fairy. I think this is just like dangerous outside, but
Right.
Tamlin doesn't understand also why Feyre stayed and helped and everything. And she's like, "I wouldn't want to die alone." And then she apologizes for killing Andrus, goddamn,
Mm.
and
Yeah.
says she regrets that she had such hate in her heart. This does feel like a turning point.
It does. It does. And if in case anybody was wondering, did I get a little teary-eyed at this part? Yes, I did. Oh, this was just sad. The
Yeah, it is. It was really sad.
like, the "she took my
Um,
wings," when you say that the fairy repeated it, it was, like, probably 20 or 30
mhm.
times. That was what they just kept repeating over and over and over, and I was like, "Oh, this is
Yeah.
so sad." And then Feyre, like, holding his hand as he died was just like, so meh, meh, meh.
Yeah.
Very
It's
sad.
like that guy,
Mhm.
like in The Mummy where the guy's glasses get taken and then he's like, "He took my eyes."
Me too.
Do you remember? Please tell me you've seen The Mummy.
I have, but it's been literally probably 15 to 20 years since I've watched that
Oh,
movie. I
the
know, which
rewatch is worth it.
I know. Well, and I mean, just all of the humans in that movie are so good
I know.
looking.
It's a sexy movie.
It is. Yeah, very sexy. I know that part for sure. For sure, for sure.
The Mummy.
Mm,
Okay.
yeah.
I digress. So the next morning, Pharaoh, Lucian, and Tamlin all go for a ride to this beautiful enchanted glade. Lucian and Tamlin have a little whisper fight behind Feyre, and then Tamlin sits down next to her. I just imagine like,
Yeah.
and
They
they're
may be a couple
yeah,
hundred years old, but they're still acting like
yeah,
teenagers. So,
yeah.
men.
Yeah. And so Tamlin and Feyre are being all flirty, and Feyre even makes a joke, which both Tamlin and Lucian remark about. They're like, "Oh my God, you made a joke."
Oh my God, you have a personality somewhere in
Yeah.
there. That's amazing. Oh my gosh. It's
Yeah.
wonderful.
Then Tamlin shows Feyre a special pool of starlight. And Tamlin tells her this was his favorite place when he was a boy, which was a very long time ago. And Feyre asks about Lucian and if he's all right after the fairy horror show the night before. And so Tamlin gives some Lucian lore. Basically, Lucian has PTSD. His father is High Lord of the Autumn Court, and Lucian is the youngest of 7 brothers. Across all the courts in Prythian, the strongest inherits the throne, so not necessarily the oldest. Things are very cutthroat. And Lucian didn't expect to ever be High Lord, so he spent his time traveling to other courts, making friends with other nobility, and slumming it with other lesser fairy ladies. Lucien fell in love with one of these lesser fairies, and his father had her executed and made Lucien watch. So Lucien was like, peace, I'm out, and abandoned his title. So then 3 of his brothers came after him, and only 1 came back. Turns out Lucien killed 1, and Tamlin killed the other, and Lucien has been Tamlin's emissary ever since. It doesn't say, like, we don't know how he got his scar in his eye wound.
Mm.
And it doesn't say this is how it happened either. I think I remember how it happens, but yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember if it's explained later in this book in particular or if it's in the next one. But it is discussed how he got his scar. But it would be pretty easy to assume that in that fight with his brothers is potentially where it happened.
Right. I was like expecting it to be like, and that's how he got his scar, but it didn't happen. So
yeah.
To lighten the mood, Feyre asks more questions about the starlight pool, and then Tamlin and Feyre go swimming in it, and there's some tension. Ooh la la.
Mm-hmm.
They go swimming in the starlight pool. Feyre also gives Tamlin her family history. Her father was called the Prince of Merchants, and he came from a long line of merchants. But like all family businesses, they were actually secretly in debt. A risky business opportunity presented itself, and her father took it. 8 years ago, he amassed all their wealth on 3 ships to sail to a place called Barat. That's where we're going to go with for spices and cloth, but the route they used was dangerous and all the ships sank. Then the creditors came and smashed his kneecaps, as creditors do. Then 3 years later, all their money completely ran out, and Feyre started hunting when she was 14. So yeah, fun swimming time is over, and they're all headed back to the manor. Feyre falls back to talk with Lucien some, and she thanks him for his advice with the Suriel. And she's like giving him shit for sending her into danger unprepared. And he's like, I didn't actually want you to die, but I wouldn't have been super sad about it.
He is so snarky. I love him. He's one of my favorite characters because he's just like, sorry that I told you I would help. And then I just literally didn't do it when you screamed. And I suppose I'm glad you're still alive. So all good, right? Like we're good.
Like I hesitated and I'm really sorry. Also, she's like, how dare you send me to the Suriel, without properly warning me how dangerous it is. And I'm like, Feyre, like use your common sense. Also, you caught the Suriel to great success, and you wouldn't have been hurt at all if
the Naga wouldn't have showed up.
If the Naga hadn't come.
Fine.
So it's like,
yeah,
you were fine. Lucien's also impressed that Feyre saved the Suriel, like, et cetera, et cetera. Can't believe you put a fairy above your own life. So he gives her a fancy hunting knife. And we kind of already talked about this, but he apologizes because he heard Feyre scream and he didn't immediately come running to save her.
Yeah, he was like,
water
I
under the
heard
bridge.
He's like, I heard you, but I kind of hesitated, and then I thought I heard Tamlin roar, so I was like, you're fine.
Yeah, Tamlin came. Phew.
No. Yeah.
Yeah. So then the next morning, all of Feyre's paint and supplies show up. But before she gets to see them, Tamlin takes her to the art gallery. So imagine Belle going into the Beast Library, except it's not as cool because it's just dumb art and it's not books. But whatever. Feyre can't read, so it's great for her. She likes the art. Then Feyre goes to see her fancy painting room and all of her supplies. She has a ton of paint colors, which she's psyched about. She only hoped for the 4 basic ones. I'm guessing it's like red, blue, yellow, and white. But I mean, I know you only need those to make all the colors, but like, come on, Feyre. Like, you seriously he'd just give you 4 colors in this giant mansion in the spring court, like with every color in the world. Well, whatever. She has a ton of paints and she is happy. So Feyre paints every day and weeks pass. She never shows anyone her paintings and thinks they're bad, which I am just imagining like a crayon stick figure, like horrible, like a child.
Yes. Like more abstract than maybe you would think or something. But not very good. Yeah.
But we also know she's an unreliable narrator about this
and she's
type
very
of stuff. Like
she's very hard on herself in general.
Yeah.
So,
and I'm like, I feel like if you love painting this much, like you're gonna be good at it. Like you just because you love it enough to keep practicing. Everything is like 90% practice and like percent skill. So I'm sure they're pretty good for like a stupid, dumb, idiot, useless, pathetic human idiot.
And I just wanted to comment in here. I think she is truly going through an identity crisis. She's been told by her sister all of her life that she's stupid and worthless. And a lot of her inner monologue is like giving Lucien and Tamlin these she thinks they're thinking these thoughts about her, but they have made some
Right.
comments about her being ridiculous, and they haven't been the
Mhm.
kindest about some of her humanness, especially when she first got
Right.
there. There's a history of the Fae believing themselves to be superior to humans. I think that she's just like, well, the only thing I've ever been good for was supporting my family, and now they don't even need me. So, like, what is my life's purpose? I think
Yeah.
Tamlin's trying here a little bit to give her some of the paints and stuff, but I don't think that she just feels useful anymore. She doesn't know what to do with herself,
Right.
and also feels like them being centuries old is putting her at even a greater disadvantage. How can they not be smarter than her with their hundreds of years of life experience compared to her own? And I think that even though she is a bit of a drama queen about stuff, like she also doesn't have any allies or anyone in her life who has ever tried to contradict these negative thoughts and feelings that she has on herself. So she's kind of like, well, no one has told me I'm wrong yet. So this must be right. All these horrible negative
Yeah.
things I've thought about myself, they have to be true. No one
Mm.
has ever contradicted it. I'm not smart or
Right.
pretty or, any great or
Yeah.
any of these things. So,
Right.
yeah.
And I mean, and Nesta's actively gone out of her way to tell her that she sucks and she's
Yes.
disgusting and she's
Mhm.
stupid and like whatever.
Yeah, like
I know
I
all of
know.
that. Okay,
Which
but
is why I
it's
was like,
still annoying.
she's being a drama queen about a lot of
Yeah.
it. And, like, some of it is just
Yeah.
like, we need to get over this a little bit and use some common sense, but I think that it's like it's a tough situation that she's in, so I'm trying to be a
Yeah.
little empathetic for poor little Feyre, a little bit,
I
a
mean,
little
she
bit.
is changing. She's
She
actually
is.
painting. She's
She's
hanging out with
getting
Tamlin more.
she's given it as good as she gets a little bit with Lucian. She's finding a little bit of a
Mhm.
backbone. She's coming along. She's coming along. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So yeah, Feyre is also spending more time with Tamlin, but there are still days where he's called away to deal with High Lord things, and Feyre never asks about what he does. But his safe return is enough. So yeah, again, that's a big change. She
Mhm.
like cares that he's not hurt and he's coming back. Then one morning, a breeze from the south blows in, and Feyre thinks about how it's spring in the mortal world, and she remembers her family. She starts to get super emo and grumpy. She's mad at Tamlin for letting, quote, Feyre forget her family, distracting her with paints and his hot bod and all that stuff. So Feyre storms off after dinner, and Tamlin follows her, and he tells her that the rose garden was a mating present from his father to his mother. Feyre will not be deterred from her emo-ness, though, and she's thinking about the flowers she painted back home and how maybe Nesta has scraped them off by now. So, like, she talks about that in the second chapter. There's like
Mhm.
some flowers she painted on
Right,
the
like some
table or
random
something.
yeah, random places she's kinda hidden some little paintings or
Right.
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, she's just like Feyre assumes she's been erased from their lives and forgotten. And Feyre's also super mad at herself for feeling content there or enjoying herself. And Tamlin's like, "You seem upset?" Question mark. Uh,
What's going on?
So then Feyre rips a rose off and gets all cut up by the thorns, and she's like, yes, pain. I needed this. Then finally, we get to it, like the crux of the situation. Feyre tells Tamlin she doesn't understand why she feels so ashamed for leaving her family or why it feels so selfish and horrible to paint. She did everything for her family all those years, and they didn't even care that she got taken away, didn't try to stop it at all. She doesn't understand why she thought the Puka's illusion was real. Yeah. So, I
Right,
mean,
yeah,
she's just, yeah, we talked about that's
yeah,
sad.
spiraling a little bit.
Tamlin's,
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, very valid.
yeah.
Tamlin takes Feyre's hands in his and kisses them and heals the cuts from the thorns. And so Feyre feels tingly in her pantaloons. Uh, and then Tamlin tells her not to feel bad about doing what brings her joy. Yeah, like, I mean, Feyre's never had self-care in, like, in 11 years, maybe her whole
Mhm.
life. Tamlin's fascinated by her human joy. It's fleeting and wild, etc. My God, please don't remind Feyre that she's a human, Tamlin, for the love of God.
Right, I think he's also just super, like, in awe of her outlook on life because for her, everything is so much shorter and it's fleeting and every moment matters more because she doesn't
Mhm.
have a millennia spread out in front of him. It's like she's giving him a little bit different perspective on life and maybe what's important or
Sure.
how to make things important, but I think that he's a little bit in awe of her, and all these times where he's told her that she's not what he's expected, this is what he means by that. Not that it in a negative way, but just in a more positive way than she's thinking,
Right.
I think, of what he's thinking of her. So
Right, right, right. And I just having it's like, yeah, and I mean, just think about how happy you are when you're around children and their childlike joy. She's basically an infant compared to him.
Yeah. Yes,
No, no,
exactly.
no, it's fine,
He's
it's fine.
a baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
She's
not
very mature for a 19-year-old.
Oh
Okay.
god.
And then Tamlin kisses Feyre's cheek and tells her one day there will be answers to everything, but not until the time is right and it's safe. So the next day, Feyre's all embarrassed about being vulnerable. Classic.
Mhm.
Feyre takes a bow and her new hunting knife and goes out into the woods. And after about an hour, she realizes someone is following her. So she sets a trap and catches Tamlin.
I loved this. I laughed. I
um,
thought it was funny.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. He's in a good mood about it. They have some banter and she caresses his hairs and stuff. It's like Spider-Man style. He's hanging upside
Mhm,
down.
mhm.
Um, which makes him purr almost. I roll, but like, okay, no, no, it's a
Yeah,
growl. It's a
yeah.
nice little,
Grr,
but
yeah.
but Feyre wonders how that sound would feel if they were pressed skin to skin. Ayo.
I know she's having some sassy
Yeah.
thoughts about
She's like, "Oh my
Tamlin.
god, stop it." Then Tamlin has a little poetry reading for Feyre. He wrote this is so ridiculous.
Yeah.
Um, he wrote well, at first, once I realized what he was actually doing, I was like, "That poem fucking sucked." Like, what is
Yeah.
happening right now? But he wrote her a bunch of silly limericks using the list she made of words she didn't know how to pronounce. So it is cute. Feyre
Mhm.
laughs.
Yeah.
She's happy. It's a like, nice little moment. As they are walking back to the manor, Tamlin then tells Feyre about how mates work in the fairy world. High Fae mostly marry, but the lucky ones find their mate. They're equal, they're match in every way. So high fae can wed without the mating bond, but if they find their mate, marriage is almost like insignificant in comparison. Also, what a risk. Marry someone and
Yeah.
then you meet your mate later. Ugh.
I know. That was what I was just gonna say, like, can you imagine being in love and then your partner finding their true mate and just leaving you? Like, that would be
Yeah.
absolutely horrible, and I can understand why they try not to engage in real relationships because they are still hoping that they find their mates, and they don't wanna be in that situation.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah, yeah, because like, what a gamble.
mhm, exactly.
Feyre, I guess, but I wonder how common it is though too, because he said like if you're really lucky
Yeah. Yeah, Sarah
and
J.
you live
Maas has
forever,
not Uh-huh. I mean, Sarah J. Maas
right?
has never really said much. I think we're gonna find some more stuff out when these new books come out about how
Yeah.
the mating bonds work and stuff like that. But that's for
Oh, that'll
another
be
another
interesting.
episode that we can discuss that.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, totally. Because yeah, it's like, oh, also, if you're immortal, like, you could be like, "Well, I've been chilling for the last 300 years. I probably won't find my mate." And then
Mm, and then all of a sudden
200 years later, they
mhm,
show up.
show up. Mhm.
Yeah, right.
Yep.
Turn your world upside down. But
It's a long time to wait,
anywho,
though. It's a long time to wait. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So Feyre immediately wonders if fairies can have mating bonds with humans, but that's too embarrassing. Don't ask that question. Also, Feyre, don't you think it would have already happened? Turns out, though, that Tamlin's father was just as bad as Lucian's, maybe worse, and Tamlin's brothers suck too. They all had slaves before the treaty and stuff. So, like, Tamlin remembering how they were was what made him offer Feyre the loophole and save her life. Tamlin never wanted to be High Lord, so as soon as he could, he joined his father's warband and became a warrior, planning to serve his father or whichever brother became High Lord. And then they were all killed by the High Lord of an enemy court. We don't know who, mother included. Everybody died. Tamlin had a rough transition, though, because he was never trained to be a High Lord, and a lot of his father's court defected. So Feyre's feeling really defensive of Tamlin in this moment. And she's like, they're idiots for leaving. You've done so much for the Springlands, etc., etc.
I just don't know why she was getting so defensive. Like, she doesn't even really seem to like him that much still. Things are getting better, but for her to, like, just really put all of her eggs in that basket with, "They're idiots. They're
Yeah.
so stupid. You're an amazing leader." Like, what have you
Yep.
seen him lead and do yet? Like, nothing. You're
I know.
Anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Also, just a fun fact, this chapter has the word idiot in it 4 times, and previously it's only been used once in this book. So I was like, why is idiot being used so much right now?
idiots. They're idiots.
Yeah. Idiots. Okay. It seems like Tamlin doesn't necessarily agree with her that he's awesome, but then they get distracted because they see a bunch of bonfires getting set up, and Tamlin tells Feyre that Calanmai, or Fire Night, is happening in 2 days. It's a spring ceremony, and the magic that is created helps regenerate the land for the year ahead. So Feyre asks how they create the magic, and Tamlin's like, there's a ritual. It's very fairy. You wouldn't understand. So because of this holiday, more fairies may be around because they are allowed to cross the border on that night, and Feyre should just ignore them. She's also not allowed to come to Calanmai, which she's sad about. Tamlin does not give her a reason why, which mistake.
Obviously, you're just piquing her curiosity more. Like,
Right, and
even
it's
if he
like
just told her it was literally dangerous, that the ritual is dangerous, that's all he would have had to say. Well, maybe
I
a
mean,
little
like,
more,
that's the
but
actual answer. Like,
yes.
I'm like, she's never met a fairy besides Alice, Tamlin, and Lucien that have not actively tried to kill her. And she
Yeah.
wants to go to fucking Fire Night with a million fairies.
Yeah.
Like,
Dumb.
what?
That's kind of dumb.
So again, I feel like that's is right. I'm like, you're actually being dumb, Feyre. Another like example though of like how much she's changed, probably without even realizing it. The fact that she
Mhm.
like even wants to go. So they get back into the gardens, and a scary fairy is about to show up. So Tamlin tells Feyre to hide. Lucien's also there suddenly, but the scary fairy talks to Tamlin and Lucien and tells them that their behavior is garnering a lot of attention at court, and she is wondering why they haven't given up yet and why 4 Naga are dead. Also, Feyre can't see this fairy, so that's why I keep calling it Scary Fairy, because we don't know what
Mhm.
it is or what it looks like.
Mm. Mm-mm.
Lucien pops off a little bit, and Scary Fairy's like, watch it. She could destroy this place easily, and she wasn't happy to hear you dispatched your warriors, but since nothing came of it, she decided to ignore it. But Tamlin tells Scary Fairy that he's tired of cleaning up all the trash she dumps on my borders. She sets them loose as gifts and reminders of what will happen if she catches you trying to break the terms of. This is Scary Fairy talking, but he is cut off. Tamlin is not trying to break the terms, and Scary Fairy can get out. And Scary Fairy leaves, and Feyre comes out. She's confused, like we are. Sure, we heard stuff, but nothing makes sense.
Mhm.
Feyre wonders if she is who killed Tamlin's parents, and we find out that Scary Fairy was something called an Ator, an adder.
Ator. Ator? Ator, I think.
Ator,
Ator.
Attor. I'm going to call it the adder.
Mhm. Yep.
Then the next day, Feyre's still recovering from this encounter. She doesn't go outside, and she paints what she imagines Scary Fairy, the Ator, looks like. Adder. Then the next day, it's Fire Night. Um, day. It's the day of Fire Night,
Very nice. Yes, there we go.
aka Calanmai. So at dusk, drum beats start to sound. Feyre's all sad that she wasn't invited. It's for your safety, you gigantic dummy. But she's like FOMOing so hard. Feyre's feeling pulled toward the fairy drums. She can't resist. She might have just gone out there, but she runs into Tamlin, who is shirtless and all warriored out. He tells Feyre he has to go to Calanmai and partake in the Great Rite. He tells Feyre to go to her room, lock the door, don't come out until morning. Feyre's being defiant. And in her defense, Tamlin gives her zero information. Like I literally
Right.
just said,
Mhm.
you'll get dead if you go
Mhm.
there. You'll
Yeah.
get raped and dead.
Yes. Like, why not just
Like not that hard.
that's all you had to do was just say that,
Yeah,
and I think that it would have
seriously. Like
worked.
it's for your
Like,
safety.
well, like you said, she's had so many negative and kind of scary interactions with fairies recently.
Yeah.
Like, if he just was like, "There's gonna be a bunch more dudes like that there, like, don't come."
Right.
I think that's all
You
he
like
would have needed to say. Yeah.
Yeah. You've literally met 3 nice fairies and 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bad fairies.
Yep.
8 evil fairies.
And they've tried to kill you, those ones. Like, they're not even just, like,
Yeah.
bad. They're like, they tried to eat you
Right.
and kill you.
Right.
One of them was talking
Yeah.
about drinking your bone marrow. Like,
I
why?
know.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So, Fairy goes to her room, and she's, like, all pouty, but those damn drum beats are continuing to call to her. So by 10 PM, she can't take it anymore. She rides out to the celebrations. There are fae everywhere. But don't worry, Feyre has a hood on. She's completely disguised.
Yeah. Forget their heightened senses for everything, including
Yeah,
smell.
like so she's, like, wandering through the crowds and being like, "Oh my god, this is so not a big deal at all. I can't believe Tamlin didn't want me to come here. Also, what a long way you've come that you even wanna be around all these fairies in the first place.
Mhm.
Also, you're so dumb. Like, someone's gonna try to kill you. So,
Yes.
just as Feyre is about to ask a random fairy what the great rite is, also, like, give yourself
That's
away
gonna
harder. "Excuse me,
exactly.
stranger, could you please explain what's going on here? I'm
Look at
new."
my smell me and see my little curved ears under my hood
Yeah,
instead of my
yeah.
pointy ones. You'll never guess that I'm a
Oh
human.
my god. Yeah, exactly. She's accosted by a group of 3 rapey fairy dudes. Things are getting a little dire, and Feyre starts to fall down, but she's caught by a pair of strong, warm hands, and then a deep, sensual voice she's never heard before says, "There you are. I've been looking for you." This dude, fairy, whatever, he is hot. Hot. Hot, hot, hot. And Feyre thinks he's the most beautiful man she's ever seen. The rapey fairies are scared of him and run away. Um, this guy's not important at all.
Oh my gosh. Okay, keep it together.
Um,
I mean,
keep it
I've
together. Keep it
almost
together.
got that quote tattooed on my body. But he's
Yeah,
not a
I
big
did.
deal. We're just gonna
No, no.
everything's
I
fine.
was very excited though that he showed up
Mhm.
for
Yeah,
no
me
reason
too.
at
Yep.
all. Every
Yep.
Okay, so everything about this stranger radiates sensual grace and ease. He's wearing all black, Johnny Cash style, and has black hair and super blue eyes, and they're so deep they were violet, even in the firelight. He seems to be enjoying himself, and he wants to know what a human woman is doing here on Fire Night. Yeah, you and everybody else.
Mhm.
Feyre comes up with a lame excuse that no one believes. Also, she
She's like, "Oh, my friends are here."
repeatedly, yeah, yeah, yeah. She's like, my friends they're just getting snacks. Food's far away. Feyre,
What a
no plan at
yeah,
all.
nope.
Yeah. Like, ugh, I just can't even. So much. Okay. Also, she repeatedly associates this guy with like night. He's like exuding darkness. He's like a stepped out of the night. The
The
light's
darkness
being
is
sucked into his
following
clothes,
him.
whatever.
Yes, it's like the
Yeah, yeah.
darkness follows him and
Darkest
there's
night,
like yes.
blackest night. Yeah, etc., etc. He is very interested in Feyre, and she is afraid, but she doesn't let him leave. He's like about to walk away. Feyre confirms he's not a part of the spring court, and he says he's able to be here now because all the monsters have been let out of their cages, and he may roam wherever he wishes until dawn. Yeah.
Which if you know, you know. This is
Where are
actually
you the
really
rest of the time, Mr. Nightman? The Nightman cometh. They part ways.
okay.
They part ways, and Feyre goes back to the dense crowd, and she sees Lucian across a fire. He freaks out that she's there and insults her repeatedly, calling her dumb and all that stuff. And I'm like, which, thank you, Lucian. My God, Feyre is dumb. And, and he carries her back to the manor over his shoulder like a sack of potatoes. He like runs with her too, like Edward
Yeah.
Cullen style. She's like, he's impossibly fast.
Yeah, she's like, he puts me down and I'm like woozy, like I'm dizzy from how fast he was running. Yeah.
No one should be able to be this fast.
Yeah.
Lucian's like, didn't Tamlin tell you to stay in your room? And Feyre's all like, that party was lame. Who even cares? Everything was totally fine. But it turns out that wasn't even the ritual. Duh. Fire Night is the official start of spring, both in Prythian and in the mortal world. In Prythian, the crops depend on the magic regenerated on Calanmai. I do really love that word, Calanmai.
I do too. I do
Calanmai.
too. It's really fun to
It's like a
say.
good
And to
cat name, you know?
maybe
Oh
yeah. Okay.
no, you have to get another
Oh,
cat.
seed is planted. Seed is planted.
You got a black cat and you named it Calanmai.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Oh man. Okay. Tonight, Tamlin will allow great and terrible magic to enter his body. Ayo. It's gonna
Ooh,
enter
great.
him?
And this is not one of those kind of books.
This magic will turn him into the hunter, and his sole purpose will be to find the maiden. What do you know? Spring magic is about sex. Ugh, couldn't have guessed that. But their coupling will release magic which will spread to the earth, and it will regenerate life for the year to come. So Feyre wants to know who is the maiden, And Lucian says the magic will pick her after Tamlin kills the stag. So it's all this whole thing. It turns out that all the female fairies around where Feyre just were hanging out, hoping to get picked by Tamlin. And then after Tamlin picks his lady friend for the night, all the other fairies hook up and contribute to the magic as well. So a giant spring orgy.
And it kind of like makes sense. Like if you think about
Yeah.
spring is about rebirth and, new life and kind of stuff, it makes sense that that's kind of part of their ritual. If you think about it
Totally.
in any way, I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's
kind of wild
very
still.
fairy.
Very fairy. Just like Tamlin said, he was not lying to
Yeah.
her about that. It's very fairy.
Right.
Yes.
Right. Lucian tells Feyre that if Tamlin had smelled her, he would have claimed her and he would not have been gentle. Jury's out if Feyre wants him to be gentle, but I digress. Lucian has to leave to try to control the situation because once Tamlin smells Feyre, he's going to go feral-er than he already is. Feyre is having conflicting emotions. She's like, ew, magic, making you not be able to control yourself, but also, oh my God, you wouldn't be able to control yourself.
Me thinks me likey. I don't know.
So Lucian tells Feyre to stay in her room and keep the door locked no matter what and not to come out until morning. So Feyre goes, she dozes off in her room a little bit, but then wakes up when the drumming stops and she is jelly pants. And she assumes the ritual has been completed. And wow, didn't Tamlin take his dear sweet time? I bet he picked someone super beautiful and perfect and fairy, blah, 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 woe is me. And Feyre's like realizing Tamlin is handsome or admitting that to herself for the first time. She's like, I guess he's handsome and he has nice muscles and his hair is luscious and so then she's pissed that she thinks Tamlin is hot. So in defiance, she leaves her room and goes to get a midnight snack.
The cadence of her like describing him as being attractive and like how that makes her mad. And she's like, I'm going to go get something to eat. Like, I need a midnight snack. It's like you're having such a toddler temper tantrum. And it's like you're doing the exact thing that both Tamlin and Lucian told you not to do. Like they said, stay in your room. And you're like, well, I'm mad and I heard the drumming stop. So I know that he's like performing this right. And so I'm going to be like,
yeah.
So ridiculous.
Right. She's like, fairies suck. This holiday is stupid. I'm glad humans live separately from them. And then as she's going back to her room, she runs into Tamlin. So he crowds her and pins her up against the wall.
We like that.
Yeah. He tells Feyre he smelled her and looked for her, but she wasn't there. She drove him mad. When he couldn't find her, the magic made him pick another. Feyre is secretly loving being manhandled, or should I say fairy handled?
Fairy handled? Mm-hmm.
Tamlin tells Feyre that the female he picked asked him not to be gentle with her, but he whispers in Feyre's ear, I would have been gentle with you.
And, okay, so I like looked back at this part and it like specifically says that he like runs his nose along the shell of her ear. And then I'm like, oh my God, do I have a nose fetish? Because I
and you love their noses getting close together in People We Meet on Vacation.
Yes. They're I don't know. They're Eskimo kisses. I don't know what it is. It just makes me it just makes me feel all tingly. I just like that. I don't know.
He also says, some other, like he would have taken his time, like, babe. He says, just a couple things. Yeah. Feyre, of course, is all melty about this, but she's also like, ew, why would I want anyone's sloppy seconds? And then Tamlin bites her right on the neck. She does not hate it.
I'm like, oh, for our friends with the wondering about the Omegaverse stuff, biting in that very specific area in the neck shoulder juncture is very It's a claiming bite mark.
All the like glands or whatever. That's
Yes.
A whole new world. Okay. So Feyre does not hate being bitten at all. And Tamlin tells her to never disobey him again. And she slaps him. She's like, how dare you? And I was like, she really has come a long way.
From being like terrified of him and like running away to like slapping him.
She slapped him in the face. You just were like freaking out about the fact that he was a high lord. Oh my God. So Feyre is turned on, and I mean, so is Tamlin, but he leaves her alone in the hall. And I'm like, good for you. Glad the 500-year-old dude has restraint.
Yeah. And like legitimately, she doesn't need his sloppy seconds. So I
Right.
yeah,
Give it
yeah.
give it 24 hours.
At least. Yes,
Marinate on
please. Yeah.
that. Take a shower or something. Feyre wakes up the next morning. She's still all hard up and she considers trying to cover the bruise on her neck from where Tamlin bit her, but decides against it. She's like, he deserves to see it. She goes to breakfast with Tamlin and Lucian immediately is like, what is that? As one does when they see a hickey on their friend. He's like, you a hickey?
What is that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, always need to be pointed out.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Feyre tries to shame Tamlin, but that is immediately turned around on her. And Tamlin's all, it's not my fault you can't listen to what we tell you. Like, Lucy and I both told you to stay in your room. So Feyre storms out in a rage, and she just spends a few hours painting Tamlin and Lucian as pigs until she feels better.
That's so funny. That's great.
But Feyre, she is happy, though, that the Tamlin she knows is back. She's like, the magic isn't, making him an animal anymore. Then after dinner, Feyre and Tamlin apologized to each other, and Tamlin brought her flowers. And then the next day, Feyre wants to wear a dress to dinner. Like, it's so obvious. Like,
Yes. She's been wearing like pants and tunics, like men's clothing, basically, since she's been there. Yeah.
Yeah. So Alice is helping her dress, and Feyre's like, what? I just want to look nice. Okay, this is perfectly normal.
Yep. I'm just acting totally normal, but like pretty me up before dinner that you've never done in the months that I've been here. Please and thank you. Yeah. Totally normal. Totally normal behavior.
So, this is funny. She goes to dinner, and Lucian takes one look at her, and he's like, I remembered something very important I have to do, and he leaves.
Bye. See you later.
Oh, it's good stuff.
Yes,
So
yeah.
Feyre and Tamlin are alone, and Feyre makes a comment about how giant the table is. Let's be more obvious. It's like, oh my god, this table's just so giant.
You're so far away
from me. So Tamlin vanishes the middle of the table, and so it's an intimate little dining experience for them.
I was like, that's kind of a hot maneuver, actually. I approve.
Yeah.
I approve of that move.
Right.
Yes.
Yes. We learn a little bit about the magic system, I guess. It's like he put it in a little broom closet between worlds.
That's how he imagines it. Yeah. He thinks about it.
Right.
He took it away and he put it in his magical storage closet. Yes. Yeah.
But apparently doing magic like this is now taxing for Tamlin when it used to be really easy. But Tamlin tells Feyre she looks beautiful, and Feyre is starting to accept that maybe she's pretty and she's filled out since she's actually eating food and not constantly worried about dying. And then Feyre takes Tamlin to her painting room to show him her crayon drawings. Just kidding, her masterpieces, her works of art. Feyre is like, I know I'm just a stupid, dumb, idiot human, and I paint strange things that are beneath your high face standards, blah, blah, blah. But Tamlin knows all the things she's painted and is moved by them. It's like, wow, yeah, Feyre is shocked that Tamlin, who has an art gallery in his home, can't appreciate different styles of art.
Yeah. Come on.
But anyway, Feyre has painted the Glen with the starlight pool. She painted her woods from back home, her cottage, and Isaac Hale's hand in the barn with Feyre's hair around it. That's the only one with any color. And she also painted her dad's knee getting smashed, etc. She's just processing her trauma through her paintings. So Tamlin tells Feyre that he wants her painting of the woods, and she's like, are you sure? Whatever, he does. Feyre really wants to remove Tamlin's mask at this point, and she wants to know how she can help him. But there's nothing she can do. It's Tamlin's burden to bear. Feyre wouldn't survive what Tamlin has to face and endure. You sure about that? You sure about that? You sure about that?
Are you sure?
Feyre's like,
foreshadowing.
Yeah.
Gosh, excuse me.
Also, Tamlin doesn't face shit. He just
know.
sits there like a little bitch. Anyway, okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. Feyre's like, do you want me to live somewhere else since you won't tell me what's happening? And he's like, did Calanmai teach you nothing? He wants to be with you, Feyre. Duh. He wants to do it with you.
like she can't see this yet, but how can she think that he, a high fae, would feel like there's somewhere else that she could go that would be safer than with him? He's supposed to be the most powerful
Oh, yeah.
being in at least the spring court, and if he's getting like
Right.
bad fairies dumped over his borders from the other courts, why would he send her somewhere that's
Yeah.
safer? Or maybe she's just like, if you want me to not be a distraction, like, you know what, I don't know, but that was kind of like,
Right.
he wants you safe, and he thinks the safest place is with him. So
She's fishing.
she is. She wants
Yeah. Also, even in the beginning when he was like, you can live wherever you want in Prythian, it's like, the fuck she can. She's gonna get eaten.
Yeah.
She did nothing. Like she
within-
immediately almost got eaten.
Yes.
Like one day. Okay. But he's like, no, I don't want you to live somewhere else. I want you to live here where I know you're safe and I can take care of you. Once again, acts of service are my love language. That'll do it every time. Okay. Take care of me. Tamlin doesn't want Feyre to leave because he likes her, but he feels like she understands him and he doesn't feel alone with her. And then Feyre doesn't lock her bedroom door that night. Ayo.
Just like, it's an invitation. I know.
She's like, bring it on. Yeah.
Yep.
She's not scared anymore.
No.
She's happy.
No. She can do it.
Yeah. So then the next day, Feyre and Tamlin are laying in the grass in a glen. Lucian's making himself scarce. He knows what's up. Tamlin tells Feyre if she gives him a kiss, he'll remove the glamour from her so she can see and hear the world like he can. So Feyre agrees. Tamlin kisses her eyelids and she can hear all these new sounds and see all these new colors. Tamlin's so beautiful and filled with light, blah, blah, blah. She can also hear the willows singing, and willows are always singing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Lord of the Rings, the willow puts people to sleep. Feyre tries to take off Tamlin's mask again, but it doesn't budge. And then Tamlin puts the glamour back in place so he'll look normal. And Feyre just really wants to know what he looks like without his mask. You think he could like glamour the mask off? No, I guess that's part of the enchantment.
Yes. Yeah. Shoot, that would have been great, right?
Yeah. It's like, what mask? Then Feyre has to hold up her end of the bargain. So she gives Tamlin a kiss on the hand, and he thinks it's funny.
Which, why would he think that's funny? He just did all these sweet little gentle kisses all over her face, and she like takes his hand like some Victorian gentleman and she's like kissing the back of his hand, like,
and she like throws it back. She's like, "There's your kiss." Also, I thought that like him, like at first, him kissing her eyelids was the
enchantment. Or the removing the glamour. Yes.
Yeah. But when he's like, it'll cost you a kiss, you know, I was like, oh, he kissed her eyelids. You know what I mean? Like that's what it was. But
no, he wants a kiss from her to him.
Right.
Yes.
I got it after that. Yeah. So anyway, so tension's still there. Their lips have not touched. Then Feyre is like lulled to sleep by the magical willow, and as she's drifting off, Tamlin tells her she's exactly as he dreamed she'd be. Tam.
I know. Making me feel things I didn't think I was going to feel for you, Tamlin.
So then, we love you, Tamlin. Canon event. Okay, so when Feyre wakes up the next day, there's a weird fairy in her room with skin like tree bark. It turns out it's Alice, and Tamlin's glamour is gone, so Feyre can see things still as they really are. Also, the manor is now crawling with other servants and members of the court. Awkward. They were always there, and I'm guessing that's like what she was seeing out of the corner of her eye and stuff, but like, and Feyre just couldn't see or hear them, and so Feyre's embarrassed and realizes when she snuck out after the puka that night, she had an audience. Probably every time she's walked around the manor, people were watching her.
She's like, this hallway is empty. I can view these like paintings, and they're like there's probably tons of fae around her. Every single thing that like it's okay. It's like every single thing. I'm like, this really requires some level of embarrassment for sure for you right now. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Right. And I'm also like, okay, I get it that Tamlin, like, why don't you just glamour them to not be invisible, but to look like Alice or something so that she knows they're people? Because I do feel like that's kind of a violation.
Yeah.
To think you're alone and you're not alone. Like, oh my God.
Well, and also too, like, I think that she probably would even feel more stupid at this point because she's like, well, the manor was always really well taken care of and it was always clean and all the gardens were always really pretty. And I think that she just
Mhm.
like thought that that was almost his magic that was doing it. And then she's like, I would feel very betrayed. Like, there's actually all of these fairies here
Right.
that you didn't let me
Yeah, yeah,
see.
yeah.
Like, ooh, I
Yeah.
don't
Or at
like
least, like,
that.
tell her, like, they're invisible, like, but that would be scary.
Yeah.
She is like, "What the hell?"
And
And,
maybe she would have been too overwhelmed. Like, I don't,
right. I mean, that's kind of what he says, she's like,
yeah,
"Why did you do this?" And he's like, "Well, you would've been, like, shitting your pants."
yeah,
And she's like,
yeah,
"Yeah, yeah, I would've," but it's
yeah.
almost like, just make them look normal,
Right. Like
not invisible.
humanness, like
Yeah,
human-esque,
exactly, like Alice.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right, and then yeah, yeah, so, but anyway, the glamour only applied to Tamlin's court, though, so that's why Feyre could still see the Naga and the Suriel. She's like, "How was I able to see any fairies at all because of that?" But she couldn't see the adder because Tamlin glamoured her quickly on the grounds when it showed up, and he's like, "That's the stuff of nightmares, you don't wanna see that." Also, Lucian gives Feyre shit about the kiss thing with Tamlin, which, like, you have to tell Lucian everything? Like, that's also he's like, "If I give you this, will you give me a kiss,
Yes.
Feyre?" It's like, "Tamlin, keep it
They
together, dude."
yeah, Feyre and Lucian are becoming frenemies for sure. They're
Yeah, yeah,
just
yeah.
like they're giving each other so much shit back and forth. I love that. I love the little banter and the friend like they're
Yeah,
blossoming like friendship. Like she's not going to admit that they're friends, but
right.
yeah, it's funny.
He's
Yeah.
my fremesis.
Yes.
Um And also, I guess it makes sense, but also, like, Lucian, don't do that. But because all of the little things that have happened so far in the book of Lucian being like, "Damn,
I know he's like
be alone with her."
nudging
He's like
her, but
trying to like hook them up. So, but anyway, the blight is acting up again, and more scary fairies are being released from their tethers. And this is just scary fairies, a general term, not just adders, but fairies that
mhm,
want to eat people. So Tamlin's like, don't talk to anyone you don't want to. Um, Tamlin doesn't want to have to kill anyone. I guess now
mhm,
too, like all the staff that are around. But and yeah, dun dun dun. The blight is ominous, and I want to know what the deal is. Tell me
mhm,
right now, okay?
mhm,
The next morning, Feyre finds a head in the garden. Totally normal thing to find there, if you ask me.
mhm,
Just
mhm,
kidding. It is a male high fae, head on a stake, and it has a night court insignia behind his ear. So, like, not only is this obviously a horrible affront, but the head is so fresh. Someone did this, like, right outside the gardens and put it there. So it's like, ugh, yeah, it's just
yeah,
a huge violation and
mhm,
scary. Why would the night court do this, right? It's just a little jokey joke. The night court's made up of depraved assholes. They're sadistic killers. Lucy and Taylor are like, it's just their idea of a little prank. Feyre keeps thinking about what the Suriel said. Stay with the High Lord and you'll be safe. And Feyre's like, if this is what the night court does to fairies, then how bad was it for humans when they were slaves? The answer is bad. Tamlin was happy to see the human slaves go, even if his father wasn't. And Feyre tells Tamlin he's not like his father or his brothers. He's never made Feyre feel like a prisoner. Feyre is so upset she can't even paint, which I'm like, yeah, duh, I'd be concerned if you weren't upset. You found a severed head. And then I thought of Wayne's World. If it's a severed head, I'm going to be
could be
very
very
upset.
upset.
But anyway, we are going to stop here. Yay, we're
Mhm.
halfway done.
Yay! Woohoo! Yeah.
Shit's about to go down.
Mhm.
In
Yes.
true Sarah J. Maas fashion.
Mhm. And we still have some stuff to get through before it really starts getting heavy, but
Yeah,
I'm
that is
very
true.
excited for this next
Yeah.
for part 2. It's gonna be
Yeah.
amazing. So, yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. Well,
Yay!
hang in there, everybody. You're in
Yep.
for a ride. I hope you've read these and you know.
Mhm. What's coming.
But
And hopefully we
also, yeah,
if
yeah.
we gave too many
Or if
spoilers or maybe you're like, "What? What are you talking about?" Well,
mhm,
you'll find out. You will. I
I
promise.
know. I hope if you haven't read, we didn't give anything away because some good stuff happens in these two books.
Mhm. Really
The
good.
first the first two anyway. All right, well, we're gonna yeah, part one, and then next week, part two
Well,
will be out.
yes.
So
Yes. Yeah. So,
yeah.
you know all the fun stuff, like, comment, subscribe. We've got TikTok,
Yeah.
Instagram. Follow us.
Be our
Yeah,
friend.
we love you. We love you all so much. Want you
Yeah.
to be on this journey with us. Mhm.
Woohoo. All right. I don't know what to say as a closing. I wanted to be at something like fairy, but I'm just a
Ooh,
dumb, stupid, ignorant,
human.
weak human who
Yep.
is an idiot. So I guess I'll just Leave. Oh, no.